Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord to be part of the action. See you in game, Commanders. Beyond All Reason fans, welcome to King of the Hill by AllReasonNoLogic. Experience 2 or more teams facing off in epic scale warfare, where the Horde gang up on the Kings of the Hill. Kings start off with an economic bonus. They do their best to defend an onslaught after a no-rush timer expires. Test out your micro and defend against multiple players in variations of this game mode. Or be part of the masses. Team up with your allies to topple the throne in a glorious victory. AllReasonNoLogic, hosting King of the Hill lobbies, most Sundays. Join our Discord.
Just don't force start it until we've got things kicked off.
Oh, it's already force started, people letting in.
As in like the actual game.
Right. I'm ready when you guys are.
Okay, we're going to go live. And then just don't say anything. Okay, so going live in 3 seconds. All right, everyone, welcome. Today's pretty special for Beyond All Reason community. We've officially cracked 70,000 members on the Discord, which for a community-driven RTS is honestly pretty wild. But given how good this game is, it's not surprising to me. A huge credit to all the devs, the contributors, the lore team, the modders, the artists, the lobby admins, etc. And of course, all of you legends who keep filling the servers every night. Now, later on today, in a few hours, the big official event stream is kicking off in 3 hours from now. We're talking some big lore reveals, faction presentations, developer appearances, massive games, and eventually the traditional devs versus players showdown, which historically goes very well for the devs, until it doesn't. Initially, during the main event, Pradith and I think we're going to be sticking around for a bit, early on our Monday morning, thanks schedulers. I don't know the full schedule, but I think we might get to hear a proper narrative intro presentation, diving into the Bar universe with some segments covering the major factions. So if you've ever wondered why Armada, Cortex and the rest of the galaxy are constantly trying to delete each other with nuclear weapons, that part of the event is probably going to answer some of the questions. After the gloves come off and the game starts spinning up, big lobbies, huge fights, devs jumping in and out, all that's going to happen. You'll be hosted by Requiem and Brightworks, and who knows, maybe others will join in. There will likely be a number of devs and mods helping around your event in the background. That's all later. Right now, as you see on your screen, the pre-party, which means we're starting the day or night the only sensible way we know how, King of the Hill. For anyone new joining us, the format is beautifully unfair. A small group starts on the hill with resource advantage and prime map control. Then the rest of the lobby forms the Horde. We call them the peasants. They try and take that hill off the Kings, or 5 hills in this case on Claymore. There's no rush window to get established. Then after that, just waves of units smashing into the hill, until either the defenses crack or the attackers run out of hope. Myself, Pradeth, Tank Tom, will be running Koth games for the next few hours to warm things up, and when the official event goes live, we'll be raiding ourselves and raiding back over to the official bar, so stick around and enjoy the day or night wherever you are in the world. Time to see.
What do you mean we're warming up? We are the main act.
Of course.
The 70k event is just the after party, I swear.
We are here every week and there is an after party every week, so yeah, business as usual.
Alright, ladies and gents. Hope you enjoyed Twig's intro, and let's have a bit of a look at the action going on, or lack thereof, because of the 10-minute no-rush timer.
It is really a gentleman's agreement for the start of these. You can see there is a bridge joining the kings and the peasants, unlike our other maps where there's lava dividing. Unfortunately, we cannot modify this map yet to make that lava go over these little straits, because it then takes away some of those middle spots from the peasants around the edge. But just generally, there is a border that goes around like this that the peasants are not meant to be crossing, which currently this purple player down here as a yell is doing. So maybe someone in-game needs to tell them, get back. Same with Smidget. They didn't read the rules. They've been posted in the game. If you guys are wondering, jump over to the AllReasonNoLogic's Discord. We have posted the rules in the top of the Discord. So you can see those boundaries there. Tom has drawn a map to make it simple.
But with tonight, we're expecting quite a few in the way of the tweaks to the rules from players, just because we're going to be seeing a lot of players here for the 70k event that aren't used to our King of the Hillness. Thankfully, we do have some pretty strong kings in the middle, so they should be able to handle at least a little bit of change, such as Platinum Blonde, known for some pretty insane strategies. In fact, there's a video tonight going up. I do believe he was part of the push out there. Some serious Marauder Blitzkriegs, if you're interested in watching that one, though I suspect, considering it is the 70k event tonight, that it might be something to look at another day. Or, you know, just give it a go anyway. At the top we do have Ollie, Dominus on the right, Smitch in the bottom right, and then we do have Mazza on the bottom left, which is something that we are, which are all players that, if you've been tuning in for the past couple of weeks, very, very familiar. Smitch has had a couple of rocky games getting used to being a king. There's a lot of things you have to think about, but he's also had some absolute smashing performances, or should I say smitching performances. Dominus as well, reasonably new because of the streaming that Twig does, and he's been taking a lot of the king roles recently, and he's been doing very well in them. I would like to say that it's natural skill, but I feel like Twig's been coaching him in the background.
For sure. I'll take all the credit I can in this game.
Yeah, Twig needs to take all the credit he can in the game because he sucks.
Okay.
Now,
you did miss out on one other player, Platinum Blonde. That's because this player is just a little bit too OP and King of the Hill.
I did call out Platinum Blonde.
I thought I only heard four
I
names.
talked about his whole Marauder push. I even linked it into one of our videos tonight. You're not listening, my friend. You're too excited for the 70k event.
I wasn't even listening, and I remembered the Marauder bit that he was talking about.
This is very, very typical for us at AllReasonNoLogic. I'm off with the fairies half the time.
He just wishes he was playing.
The Kings have gone with a very aggressive strategy of blowing pretty much all of their comms.
Hey, look, the past 3 weeks, we've seen a 1 or 2 comm 10 minutes from the Kings, so you know what, if it helps the Kings win, I can't blame them, but it does mean that if you, as peasants, want to win really quickly, all you have to do is head on over to Smitch's base and take out a comm there, or head over to Dominus's base and take a comm there. So basically, the right-hand side and the bottom right-hand side, if those 2 lanes win, it's going to be all over for the Kings. But, and this is what we did see last week, the Kings managed to pop themselves out of their containment, and they managed to res a king from elsewhere, which was quite nice for them. Kept them in the game. Now, as we look around, we've got about 6-minute T2 coming up from a few of these players. Going with, quite a few of the these circles around the outside. They've managed to grab themselves multiple T2 labs, or they're not quite sharing their T2 labs as effectively. Best thing you can do in this sort of situation is jump around and use those T2s effectively across everyone. Fund one player to get it as early as possible, because as long as you have the energy to power the T2 mexes, getting those T2 mexes earlier off of one T2 lab is definitely the way to go. Not to mention, if you do go 2 T2 labs, by the time that 10-minute comes around, you're probably only going to have a handful of T2 units, which just won't cut the mustard. Looking at the King's bases, quite a few of them getting those fusions down. I suspect we're going to see quite a greedy build out of Ollie, as we see that first fusion just about to pop up, probably at the 7-minute 20 mark. Dominus hasn't quite got theirs yet, but I'm sure we'll see it. They do have the ability to fund that out of with the T2 lab. Smitch getting rid of their T2 lab to pay for the fusion. Mazza hasn't yet started reclaiming the bot lab. We'll see how that goes for them. They're going to run out of metal for it, which is not ideal, but they should still be able to get it up with plenty of time to spare. This game is all about efficiency in that first 10 minutes.
Alright, sorry I've been a bit quiet. Prey, I've just been talking to PTAC in the background. We've got a new lobby to join. We're on Oz right now, and everyone knows we're a little bit slow over here, so we're going to jump over to an EU server after this one. So
Works
don't be
well.
frightened when we disappear.
It works well for the normal nights, and in particular the first game of the night, where we do limit that to a handful of players, so that it is just so we can get it kicked off nice and early, hence this whole Claymore side of things. But yes, we will get ready in a proper lobby after this one. So if you're not in the game, don't worry. The whole thing will be opened up for the next one in a new lobby, so just be mindful of that one. And if people join that lobby in the background ahead of time, it will hopefully not crash as the event goes on.
I think to be mindful as well, for those that there will be a number of new players to King of the Hill, so maybe the balance is going to be a little bit off. We do get a lot of regulars week to week. We are here at the same time, this time every single Sunday, and we will be for the near future at least, maybe longer, hopefully. We're on our second year of this. It's quite a fun event, and there's always an after party as well, as we mentioned afterwards. So if you haven't checked us out before, jump over to the YouTube or Twitch and join the Discord, more importantly, and you'll get pinged of these events when they're occurring.
The Ollie build always has me on edge, because it is 9 minutes, building a third fusion, and only just starting to look at getting those defenses up, reclaiming the wins in order to get that fusion. This is a tight build, and it relies entirely on the defense of those beamers. Yes, it's going to generate a fair amount of income, but if anyone does pop a radar down and notices they're up against Ollie, the real counter to this, and I'm yet to see it, is a group of players just going Wolverines protected by other things. Yes, with 3 fusions, Ollie's going to be able to get plenty of units out, but Beamer defense is they're only going to be able to come out so quickly. And with that Beamer defense, all you have to do is punch any hole and then push some fast units through to completely destroy that one. So honestly, we'll see how that one goes.
I played a really good strategy recently, which would work so well against this. Hover start. Just send those rocket hovers in and they arrange all this shit. He's dead.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Don't recommend the 3 fusion start. I mean, he will probably survive because he is quite experienced, but the amount of times I've been king, survived the first rush and then zoomed out when I got a breather, and then I just see Ollie's base is no more because he's done a 3 fusion or something like this. He's going into a 4th.
I think he's got enough to defend this.
He probably does. These beamers do well, and there is no
Beamers
T2.
Hit hard.
With only Psycho Pew Pew going in, he's probably going to take this out quite easily, especially with this number of pawns going this way. The Wolverines, perfect to take out those, but without the help of the Fringe, they're probably all going to get taken out pretty damn quickly. That's going to be 5 Wolverines, which could have busted these quite easily and put real pressure on. Just dead.
Just on the right-hand side, attacking Dominus right now, we've had a discoordinated attack with Duffy and Bag. Sending their units in at different times has allowed for Dominus to counter with his own stouts inside the fire range of the beamers.
Oh, Ollie's
That's
base.
given really good trade. Oh dear, Ollie's base.
Oh no!
It is
Go
still
for the build
power
power
down,
and the conversion.
but there's still 6 build turrets, so it's not the end of the world. These things, this is not actually that bad. The conversion is still up. When that happens, spread those units out. Make sure you're grabbing the conversion. Make sure that you've got units attacking a few of the different fusions, because then the chain reactions will happen.
Ooh.
But nicely done. Bottom right hand side, Schmidt has pulled his defense back, similar to how Ollie's been doing it, but didn't back himself into the corner, so there's plenty of room around there for the T1 units to move around the base. Are being cleaned up by ticks though at the moment, so it does look like even though units getting around the back, it's not a big deal. We do have something quite interesting happening right here for Platinum Blonde. This is something we don't normally see early on. Hopefully it'll get some good attacks going through. There was some pings about whether or not this is allowed. This is in fact quite allowed. And there we go, it is going to grab a lot of that conversion right there.
Whoa.
Question is, what else can it grab before it is cleaned up?
Recluse
Still
on the
wiping the
backside.
conversion off
Commander
does make those fusions not overly relevant, but with a really strong attack out, Platinum Blonde has already destroyed one of his peasants, so even with the decrease in income, it shouldn't be too bad.
I want to keep an eye on the lane that Mazza is holding. There is quite a bit pushing into this here. We've got a lot of thugs, but T2 is up and there are 3 sharpshooters that are going to slowly wind down. It's very unfortunate that Insane Smidget on the left has not pushed any units forward yet, because there is no army to defend over there. They could slowly be taking out these beamers and then pushing through with some maybe faster units. You can see these rascals coming out of Sinister Platypus's base. They'd be perfect for pushing through any spots where the beamers are eliminated.
And this is one of the things that's super important when you're playing as peasants. You have to play in a coordinated fashion. Right now, Insane Smidget has a army value in probably the 2,000 to 3,000 range, but it's 13 minutes in and it's yet to have done anything. If that had been economy, it could have been powering a better attack later, or it could have been T1 units to assist. Instead, it's going to be a series of Rocketeers which are going to be outranged by those beamers, and a couple of Sheldons, which there isn't enough yet to deal with some of what's there. However, the pressure is will allow for at least something to change in that lane.
Would love to
Surprised,
see those.
apart from the one base going down that Platinum Blonde has taken out, there's been no clean sweeps, which we usually see in the first few minutes of King of the Hill in one of these triangles, either a king falling instantly or a king just absolutely wiping peasants. Not the case tonight, which I like to see. Balance isn't too far off, that means.
Oh look, ever since they made the change, which allows for kings to start with the bonus medal instead of getting it from reclaiming their buildings, I think that's evened up Claymore more than all the other maps. I think it's benefited them, but Claymore is the one that's seen the best change out of all of it. Exactly the same things are happening at 10 minutes, but the scaling is more fair for everyone involved.
That's a good
This is
reminder.
dangerous in Mazza's
the
lane.
next round we do.
In Mazza's lane, that pulsar's coming up. If that manages to come up before these guys push through, I reckon that's going to be enough to keep them back. There is a chance that Insane Smidget here keeps pushing through. The Sheldon has seen the beamer, but it's unfortunately missing it.
First shot, 3 kills.
Oh,
Nasty.
Yeah, that
And
puts them on the back foot for sure.
the bad micro as well. All of those T2 Sheldons are basically dead because of the handful of welders that got in amongst the ticks. So nicely done. Still, on the other flank, we do have a good amount of damage that's coming in on. Actually, at the moment, it's not hitting too much, but still pressure being put on that side. But the ticks as well as the Pitbull taking a lot down. Pitbulls have more range than I always give them credit for.
Now we do have on the left Platinum Blonde taking on that second base, but on the right, a lot of pressure is being put on Dominus. So we might see concurrent wins and losses for the Kings in their lanes. Dominus has that commander on cloak over on the right, just trying to avoid all these T1 units. We do have Duffy with a couple of the ambassadors trying to shoot from a distance, taking out that pulsar, which is keeping everyone back. I think I'd like to see these green units just spread out a little bit more and just commit, just go in, get full view. You can see Dominus right there, sending that commander in to take out those units with some lovely D guns, only losing about half their health. Yikes.
And it does leave the comm on almost no health as well. But it is mostly the economy going down that
the
is...
Starlights are going to be a problem for these guys. If we get enough spam in front of them, and the bull's going to really help at absorbing some of that fire. The only thing that's going to really hurt is, yes, that pulsar, which still has a little bit of health left. If Ushibag takes those two negotiators forward and does the same, hits it, that'll go down and it'll be game over, I reckon, for Dominus soon. And really need to get their move on over there, because it looks like Platinum Blonde has pushed Rovenda out of their base. Rovenda using that last of that army to go in. You know, I actually think he's got enough here to push all the way through. I don't see enough defenses. So this is a fantastic move out of a player that's just lost out of their base. Just Hail Mary, let's see if we can get the win. And he's just seen with the tick there that there is not too much here. We do have a Pitbull, a couple beamers, but just heading around the back here, I don't think these few Centurions are going to be quite enough to stop this base from being heavily damaged.
One of the important things to do here is, even though you're on a time crunch, you actually need to be really careful with how you position your army and how things go in. All of the hounds were lost at the front, which is not ideal, and a lot of the tanks came in range of those beamers. So unfortunately, no real damage done here. Whereas if they just stuck around the edge and let the tanks go up first, I actually reckon that would have been a dead base. But I still like the
on the right. We just had two balls go in.
Yep, and this is one of the problems with investing in static defense. Yes, the beam is incredibly powerful. Yes, the rattlesnake was very powerful, but it was taken out by a couple of ambassadors, which definitely they do not stop those. So King's in a interesting position. They've won one lane, they've lost one, and pressure is mounting towards both Mazza and from Mazza, so it's going to be a hard one. One of the things, though, the player in the side, Insane Smidget, wasn't coordinating too much with the other two in their lane, so it is going to be... It opens an attack avenue more so than affects the offensive front. Destroyed. So we'll see how this one goes. We also have a very strong push coming out of Smitch, but it is getting a large amount of those T2 units destroyed by that comm there, but with plenty of Starlights behind and still a couple of things to deal with the spam. I reckon this push will continue.
For those who do not know the rules for Claymore King of the Hill, the peasants and kings need to stay inside their triangle. So looking over at Mazza Lair, that's a triangle. So you have to defeat your opponent before you can move on. You can see now Platinum Blonde defeated their triangle. They can move on. They're choosing to move north. Similarly, Douchey Bag and Duffy have beaten their king, so they can now go wherever they want on the map. And wow,
we've just lost Smitch.
Yeah, that has just happened, I believe, potentially for
3 ambassadors.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, three ambassadors. Firing onto an Aphis. That is why you have to be careful where you build things, because that's just shifted the power dynamic right now, because Mazzo did look like he was going to win the lane, but now is stuck with only a handful of Starlights and... Oh, sorry, that's not Mazzo. That was Smitch. Good idea giving the Starlights to Mazza, because Mazza can power them, but this is essentially a triangle lost, so 2 kings down, 3 to go, and mixed bag on what's still available for the peasants. If Reki and Sinister can keep
this is
themselves
nasty for
alive,
Ollie. The negotiators on the back of the base, protected by 7 halls.
Seems like today's the day of the
Hitting
negotiator.
player view, we can see where all this is being built. So there is an APHIS there. That's going to get damaged when these fusions go down pretty soon. Really nice choice going for them first. That's going to give a nice splash. He probably can't see where the build power's positioned, so he's thinking the explosion from this will take out the build power. It hasn't, but it has heavily damaged that APHIS, which is probably going to be the next thing on the target.
And this is one of the problems with going for a eco-heavy build before dealing with your own peasants. If another lane wins, you're suddenly incredibly vulnerable because you can't send units out the back to defend.
Ollie is defeated, so those players, Psycho Pew Pew and Fringe, can move on. The balls have now been pulled around to protect those negotiators, because if they got closer to Platinum Blonde's base, it's going to be a big problem. Bulls do quite well against
Bulls do very well
Marauders.
against Marauders.
Can we get the shots off?
The Marauder manages to sink a lot of its metal cost into its movement speed, the ability to be aquatic, as well as its anti-air, whereas a Bull is just a tanky frontline unit, which means that a lot of its cost goes into doing exactly that. So while the Marauders did clean it up, it was not clean. It was definitely not clean.
And unfortunately, the one negotiator shot just hitting short of where that conversion was. It was going to be dangerous. It's quite an even match right now. The peasants are ahead on economy. Army value in the favour of the kings. I can't tell which way this is going to go, but these marauders are going to be a problem, I think, for Douchey Bag shortly.
I think Ollie's sending his
are going to be
Ollie's sending his fat boys out certainly has allowed for a bit of an evening here, taking out an additional peasant and isolating one.
I am surprised they managed to do this much damage. All you need to do with this many fat boys clumped up, or there was about 12 or 13 there, just send a whole bunch of ticks at their feet and they'll kill each other.
We are going to be even on comms in a second here. Douchey Bag on the right is almost down.
Very important to keep those comms. So many players in King of the Hill will detonate their commander at the start of the game. I'm always too much of a pussy to do that. I really like to keep it there for the numbers, especially if I'm a king. There's only 5 kings, and I think some of them detonate at the start of the game just to get that extra 1200 metal.
I think even though there are 3 kings down, I actually think they're in a good spot right now, because they're not facing too much threat from they're essentially facing threat from one direction, and it is over half of the peasants down.
And they've got enough armies that they're getting into the bases still.
Exactly. Those marauders in the back of Duffy's base are a big problem for Duffy. All they have to do is hit the right targets, chain react some of that wind, get the conversion, and then look at the build power. Maybe stay out of range of the build power so it can't eat you early on. But it is going to grab that build power. It needs to get one more for them to chain react. There we go, that's the chain reaction.
And that's
I don't disagree with going for the fusion. It is going down quite quickly, and it has taken the conversion, which essentially limits Duffy's production massively at this point.
He kept one though, managed to keep one.
Even then, the conversion's not there, so it just isn't. He's only generating 17 metal a second, and when it's coming against a constant stream of marauders in T2, I feel like without some very serious backup, it's going to turn into a serious problem, and that backup's not going to come from
Let's
the
check out down
purple
south
players at the bottom. Those guys are doing...
I haven't seen the sharpshooters because they've been cloaked, and all the ticks are going in the wrong spot. Luckily, though, player next to him, Azrael's gone and seen this, although Ez has not seen what's there, and those have luckily cleaned those up. That's just been a saviour. That was pretty much going to be a player dead if those marauders didn't get pulled over there. Nicely done.
While that's happened, we've got another wave of marauders have made it back into Duffy's base, with those defences being whittled down and a lack of units being produced after the economy's gone. This is the entirety of his base essentially wiped at this stage.
And unfortunately, the Fringe, whilst keeping himself alive, isn't intercepting any of those reinforcements, so didn't give Duffy any of that breathing room. And whilst it's important to... well, essentially, again, playing as a team for the peasants is most important, because each player individually is going to be weak, which means that doing whatever you can, just even if that's as simple as adding spam to a defense, or providing the ability for a player to send half of their units to you instead of
Essentially,
another
this
player.
build is just going to be resulting in, yes, you will be the last player to die, but you will still die and your team will still lose.
Or even then, just the beamer defense, once you start hitting T3, is rather problematic, because even against the Marauders, it's just not as effective as it needs to be. Every single shot that's landing, whether it's from a Hound or a Marauder itself, just isn't going to be enough. And as you can see, there's always somewhere where you can break through, and now we have Marauders in the back of the Fringe's base, taking plenty of damage from those Starlights, but as long as they grab that conversion, maybe the build power, then that's going to put the Fringe out of commission.
Once that energy is gone.
And since they're grabbing those advanced solars as well, it's completely taking this out of the bag. So that is going to be the end for the Fringe. And we're looking at 3 peasants versus 2 kings with a large economic bonus with a large economic lead for the kings. Army value as well. So the kings have managed to take this one from a disadvantage to an advantage just by a couple of good plays.
I do have Razorback on the south now, which is going to do quite well at stopping these ticks that have been coming out of Ezra's base. And I love the addition of all these Lazarus from Mazza. They're going to really be fueling this T3, more and more coming out. Managing to spend all that metal, which is a very important thing to do when you're one of 2 players remaining. There are some Vanguards though.
I'm very excited.
I shouldn't have said anything because I have a feeling people listen to these casts and play at the same time.
Unfortunately, they're not really targeting the right things, and it's hard to get the shots on from where you are, because as you can see, that circle isn't fully round. It does take into account that height change, which means that it is going to be it has to walk very close, and it has walked in range of those pit bulls to get that shot off. And those pit bulls are ripping it apart.
Didn't even get a single shot off. It was a Hail Mary move. I liked it. But unfortunate. And Azrael's commander down to that Razorback. And now another Razorback is out. Taking out the almost rezzed Aphis Lazarus. And that's it. Game over. Final com was failed.
Nicely done to the peasants on this one, especially well done to the kings. We do like those even games, but the kings definitely managed to scale that a little bit harder and managed to win their lanes, and even the lanes that lost did enough to prevent catastrophic failure. So very nicely done.
Skimming through those graphs just because we need to get back to the menu and
yes,
find the next game, which is going to be hosted in an EU server. So bear with us whilst we set that one up. Have we been pulled over there? Multiplayer. Yes. All right. So we are going to change the settings of this one that we're currently in, and we're going to all jump over to the other one. And quickly.
Looks like the lobby is set up and ready to go.
For throne, yes it is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to be setting up a little bit. I don't see the lobby commands just yet, but they should come through rather soon.
This actually works quite well. We've got it set up for us already, ready to go. I like it.
Thanks to Chronographer for setting up this one. He was in here with it all.
Chrono is back. Chrono is back. Love Chrono. Chrono is the man behind the maps. He doesn't like the praise, but we're going to give it to him anyway. He's the guy that adds the lava to these to change the height maps of all these maps for us at King of the Hill. Very big thanks to him. He's also a very dangerous player in King of the Hill. He has some very uncanny tactics. All right, now, anyone is welcome to be king that has at least some bar experience or some King of the Hill experience. So we see a one Chev that hasn't played the game before. We probably suggest you jump into the Peasants channel. As for kings, we will prioritize those that have not been king yet. So if we get more than 7 down the bottom, We will probably move the likes of Platinum or Ollie or whoever else was king in the last one. So we've already got 9, so we're just going to move Plat out there.
I'm going to end up with,
And-
I'll say, 60 or 70. So we're probably looking at mid-50s bonus.
At least. Let's just finish this loading in. I think we've still got a few other players filtering out the other one. Give them another minute and we'll get this one moving.
I just want to start adding bonuses, that's all.
So rules for throne. Rules are pretty basic on this one. 10-minute no rush. The lava will visually define you that for you guys. Peasants, it's really weird that we have to explain this every week. Start on the outside of the map where all your friends are. Don't start in the middle. If you're there by yourself, you're probably doing something wrong. Kings, obviously, you can only start in the middle with their small start box you can see on this screen. And we have turned off some units for this one. So your hovers, your ambassadors, the arbiters, the missile units that can shoot up over the hill have been turned off because we find that rushing those for T2 eliminates the kings instantly. Same for the tremor. Okay, we're going to go 55 bonus and we have 8 there. So Tom's just going to apply either Fitmo or Penguin a bonus and then we'll be good for the, there it is, it's Fitmo. King's team has been set. And guys, if you've been king, we'd love for you to jump out to team 1 after the game, just so we've got a fresh slate for kings for the next game. Makes it a little bit easier for us to coordinate. Do appreciate it a lot.
Alright,
We've just had a request from the official Twitch to throw up a prediction for the next match. I think we're doing that in our Twitch, but we're reliant on the admins to do it in the official Twitch.
Yep, one is up on the AllReasonNoLogic Discord. So what does that mean for those who haven't used Twitch much before? Sorry, just getting that going. Yeah, prediction is up on the AllReasonNoLogic. So that means that you can bet your channel points. And if you lose those points, and those who win take your points away. So this is Twitch's way of gambling. What are channel points? You can spend them to use emotes or... Oh, we're getting subbed. Thank you very much. TZ Red. Okay. And guys, feel free to hit that follow. We don't encourage the subscribing, although we do love it.
Thank you very much, TZ Red, especially on tonight, which is the 70k event. Big night for us, big night for Bar, so we do appreciate it a lot.
And obviously do the same, guys. Get on the official channel. Throw them subs. The money goes towards the communities. Well, the game's development, really. All those things needed in the background, the servers, there's costs. So, yeah.
So just to be clear, anyone that subscribes to the official, the money does go to the bar team. Anyone that subscribes to us, then it does go to fund the casters for King of the Hill.
And really the next funding is probably getting Tom a faster PC because he can't keep up with some of these bigger games. Okay, I think we're pretty good. Yep, there we go. It's been kicked off. We will rejoin this one.
I'm just going to quickly grab something to drink while we load in.
We have got a lot more people in here now, so just a quick update. I'm sure you all know. In about 2 and a bit hours, the official 70k and Law Drop event kicks off. Stick around for that. Pradeth and I will be sticking around for about the first hour. It will be hosted by Requiem, and I believe we're going to hear a bunch of stuff about the factions, why Armada and Cortex want to constantly kill each other. And each other. Who knows? Who knows why? Brightworks also joining a little bit later. Us at AllReasonNoLogic though, we'll be going to sleep. It is a Monday, in only a couple hours for us.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like I need to call Tank Tom out on this one on the stream. I've just walked into the kitchen, and for those of you that don't know, Tank Tom is a particular
Welcome,
enjoyer of sausages. We'll say, and
Don't tell me
he's
this.
left his sausages in the kitchen, just on the bench, which
it's
is
not a good
not
time of
where
year
you
for
should be
that.
leaving your personal sausages.
They're not covered in ants, are they?
Twig, I feel like you're missing the point.
I'm probably missing the point. Well, I've got a personal experience that I'm dealing with every day. I've got a little girl. She's just over 1 year old, and right now she loves throwing food around while she eats. So if you don't clean it all up, the next morning you come down into the kitchen and there's just ants everywhere.
I was just at my I was just having dinner with my folks as well as with my sister, brother-in-law, and their I think one and a bit year old son. He also likes to throw food around a lot. Thankfully, we decided to eat outside because the weather was really nice, and so I feel like the birds are going to be eating well tonight.
It's a very smart move. Unfortunately, the mosquitoes are there in the evening for us where we live, but breakfast,
Yep.
of course, outside. Do not want the eggs on the kitchen floor with all the oil. And
No,
I married a Greek lady, so there's a lot of oil on the eggs.
Just think, your new house is going to be a joy for that. Nice new floors. Definitely nothing for the baby to throw things at.
We've scratched the walls a lot putting the floors in. I've been doing that myself for the last couple of weeks. Just finished this week. Thank God that's over. But I can't even be bothered repainting some of the scratches just because I know for the next couple of years there's going to be fingerprints, everything, everywhere.
Have you considered, instead of white walls, maybe black walls?
Hey, I'd love that. But, I mean, I married a female, so that's probably not going to go down well.
You can buy paint that acts like a blackboard, and so you could just buy any kid, your kids or any kids that come over chalk, so they could decorate the house for you.
Beautiful, just beautiful. All right.
Also, for anyone wondering, it actually literally was just that Tom hadn't put his sausages in the fridge. Good day and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the precursor to the 70k event, to King of the Hill on Throne, where we have 7 intrepid kings with a plus 55% bonus against 81 peasants. Will it be enough? Probably not, if we're being honest. Though 2 of the peasants have started in the lava, which is a good sign for the kings. One of them did make it out, but the other one is about to make a lovely little dent just there, which will hopefully leave the peasants a little bit of extra time to get those mexes.
Commander destroyed.
Thankfully, not in the middle, so no donation to the kings. Couple of things you need to bear in mind. There is a 10-minute no rush. The lava will disappear at 10 minutes, at which point it is open season on the king. Any units that are left in the game are all good. We have disabled the units we don't want in the game. That includes air, that includes T1 and T1, T1.5 and T2 rockets. The other big one, and this is the hardest one to keep everybody in line with because we also know there's a lot of new players here, don't use structures offensively. The big culprits are usually things like rattlesnakes, Junos, or EMPs. You're more than welcome to drop those on units, just don't drop them on enemy buildings. Don't creep them forward unless you have truly cleared the ground in front of you. It's not one of those things where if the enemy takes one step forward, then that's a problem. More along the lines of if you manage to take, say, one of these corners here, then feel free to defend it. Just make sure that your shots are not sort of going past that. Are not sort of going past the ramp. And for those of you that are joining us reasonably new or reasonably fresh, because this is a 70k event, We are All Reason No Logic. I'm Pradith. Joining me is Twig and Tank Tom. Twig is the one who streams, Tank Tom is the one with PC issues, and I'm the one that likes the sound of my voice too much.
Commander, self-destructed.
I like it too. It means I can actually make sure things are happening the right way there, the way they're meant to happen in the background.
Commander,
That's why I often
self-destructed.
go very silent. That, or I'm just like watching someone do something in game that's interesting and I'm learning something, which is very important and beyond all reason.
Twig, you're casting. You're supposed to tell us about those interesting things happening in game.
It's fine. We got Pradith for that. You're there too.
So, a couple of things that are going on. You'll notice that the seas have dried up. Well, global warming is a thing, and since the world's been very missile happy lately, all the EVs we've been making just don't make up for that. So we've dried the sea out, and it allows people to build out here, but they don't get any mexes. Without the mexes, they need to work together in order to get any sort of economy in any reasonable amount of time, but if they do, they're going to be an absolute powerhouse. Bear in mind, if the players in front of you fall or start falling, you really should be building units, because building defenses when you're this far out means absolutely nothing. Because by the time the kings get to you, they're going to have so much that one player's worth of defenses are meaningless. In these wing positions around the outside, one of the things that's there that's important is a geo. If you work together with other players, you can get a geo and a T2 very quickly. We have seen crazy builds like a T2 geo at 2
Commander,
minutes.
self-destructed.
That's quite a push. That's quite a stretch, but we have seen
Commander,
it. If you scale in
self-destructed.
these corners, you're going to be in a really good position. One of the other things to bear in mind is that just because it looks like a lot of this terrain is not traversable, there are some lanes through it, so bear that one in mind. In the middle of the map, we do have one player in the
Commander,
very center. They are
self-destructed.
considered to be the absolute eco king. Their job is to do a lot of the scaling. We've got the players that are around the
Commander,
outside by the ramps,
self-destructed.
either defend with structures or units, either or, but make sure that players are not getting up that ramp, and if you can, get on the offensive. Around the wings on the top half of the map, these players play somewhat independently, but their job is to get maximum amount of offense going. They do
Commander,
need to defend themselves
self-destructed.
against spiders and artillery, though, and that's where
Spiders
the players on
are
the ramps become
OOP
quite
against
important.
these positions. If you can rush out T2 spiders, especially out of one of those geo spots where you do get that real big economy very early in the game, we have seen these wings fall very quickly, and sometimes those spiders can just continue on straight up to the eco spot, and there's pretty much no coming back from that.
Commander,
But to
self-destructed.
prevent that, one of the best things you can do, looking at Geed's lane just down here, get some we got Armada, get some beamers all the way along there. Even T2 walls go quite nicely.
Tier 1 walls
that'll-
will stop
that'll stop.
T2 spiders, and T2 walls will stop T3 spiders.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
They do. Okay. I learnt that. There you go. This is what I do. I sit there quietly and don't speak that much.
Because
and
things
listen
like
and learn.
beamers still let them get
Some-
up and launch a volley, which can be rather hazardous depending on where your eco's built.
Something to bear in mind just over here. Lion is building defenses, and it's only 5 minutes 30 into the game. This is something that you have to be very careful of, because any metal or build power that's going into these is metal or build power that could be producing economy. By the time all of these are up, it's fair to say that you'd be able to have a fusion and a converter instead if you focus the build power and
Like
focus the
Duffy
build around doing
is
it.
saying right now, defenses at 8 minutes is the general
Exactly.
rule for Kings and King of the Hill. This map and Raptors, same deal. Even Claymore, I'd probably even do it later on Claymore. But get these up, get the fusion up, and go some towers at the 8 or 9 minute mark. The other option as well, which we have seen work, and I've bitten my words in the past about this, is just forget the towers. Make sure you got units permanently along
units.
that edge. And as soon as you've got like the safety net around you, as soon as you get this player or maybe the eco player coming out
Commander,
around that
self-destructed.
lava and defending that lane, send those units out then, and you haven't wasted any men on defenses.
If you own no
One of the
man's land,
most-
then they can't hit you through it.
One of the most efficient defenses I've seen
Commander,
around
self-destructed.
one of these wings was something like 8 snipers and a series of ticks on patrol. because the snipers have such good range, it basically didn't matter where they were able to shoot the spiders coming up over the hill, but because of the different ranges, it meant that they didn't all waste their shot on just one of them. The ticks also then took shots, provided good scouting, that sort of thing. The other thing you could consider is actually throwing in a arbiter or something along those lines, ambassador, and as well as the high ground radars and cameras, just so those start firing on the things in the low ground as well. But that was a ludicrously effective defense, because it even scaled into the Karganeths later on.
Now, for those that are watching the AllReasonNoLogic stream, you can see at the bottom left of the screen there is a bit of a scoreboard. Currently, King's on 1 win for the night. We do keep track of these each King of the Hill, and we also track the total wins since the start of this year. So Kings 7 wins, Peasants on 8. Can the Kings even it up after this game?
That actually
What do you reckon?
is surprisingly good balance, to be honest.
Oh, we're good at what we do.
I thought it was
Kratos.
going to be way worse than that.
No, we do fleek this quite often, and we do throw a little bit of bias if we have a night where the Kings keep winning or the Peasants keep winning. We will change those bonuses around to try and give a little bit of advantage to whoever's been losing the most, but never too much. 5-10% max on these bonuses. We do have units coming out of Duffy already. Just going. I actually like this. We haven't seen sharpshooters come out of one of these players and be the primary unit for pushing out at the start. Usually because you get a lot of spam out of the Peasants, big rush. But if these don't get taken out,
if you can get those sharpshooters down one of those ramps, they do so much work.
I'm going to watch this build. He's got 4
quad
fusions.
fusions. Damn.
That's this guy's been practicing.
Self-destructed.
Seriously,
And I
Duffy.
don't think
Come
that
on.
was any help from anyone either. So I don't
No,
think
I
that was
saw
a
their own
T2
T2
from
lab.
mid. So very, very nicely done.
So
And all
we've
that
gone
build
with-
power concentrated in the middle means that those beamers are coming up with basically no time between them. So this is going to be well defended and well united.
Welders, he's got 10 sharpshooters and he's going for 394 welders apparently. That should be
And
enough
also-
to clean up.
Tick spam too. So he's going to be a one-man army. Compare that to a couple of the other ramps, and I guess, hey, 2 fusions per ramp. That's perfectly good in my
What
books.
bonus did we give these guys?
55. So
Oh,
55
wow.
is not even that high. It is high, but it's not crazy high. So
People been practicing.
they are going to be up
this
against
game
some
mode a bit
crazy
more.
odds, though. If you look at Daoshi Bag in the bottom right-hand side, triple fusion at before 10-minute mark as a dry C player.
That's impressive.
That's crazy.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
That's good. That was with the com detonation, I think. No, you know what this is? This is Dominus's base. Commi does
Yep.
things.
And that's 10 minutes.
We're going to see those first
All right.
rushes.
Let us see how we go with this interesting strat. We have not seen scuttles coming out of the peasants right from the get-go. This is going to be quite
Don't
an
mind that.
impactful play if it manages to hit. But while they're walking along, we do see those snipers with the welders in front starting to reap a toll. This is going to be a hard push to stop
Those
as
ticks
well.
are
So
already out.
Oh, wow. This is probably going to... wow. Those scuttles do so much damage. And this here is there no radar? Is there no... Oh, no.
oh no!
That is an
Insane.
open lane.
That was so close. These ticks are going to go... I'm going to keep my attention here because this is potentially Fitmo dead. There is one more scuttle in the mix here.
And the
If it gets
snipers
through-
just not the units needed to take this out, and the ticks are in elsewhere. Snipers again, not the units to take him out.
So
the build
close.
power's actually what needs to
Those
take him out.
Spread out those ticks
Ticks
and
are
just go
going to
in.
make it in. And going straight for the wing.
They're going to get
Oh,
Duffy's build power,
Duffy's.
I think.
No,
That's going to hurt.
Commander
And
That's-
that was the most.
And
Just
look at
taken
Duffy's
out.
push as well.
Yeah.
Oh man. And that's the thing about King of the Hill. When you're a single, when you play as the Kings, you are a single team, and one entryway breaking
Commander
is enough to
destroyed.
completely stall out anything else that's happening in the game. And thankfully, we have seen
Commander
Watch Behind
destroyed.
going into units, which will hopefully allow this to hold, and a good choice of units too. The Centurions are going to do a great job, but if we see some offensive power out of the peasants from this bottom side, like we are, as it turns out, T2 Spiders are not going to be stopped by just a couple of LLTs. Those need to be something much, much tougher. And so we're going to be seeing the fall right here.
Perfectly
of a
bad
lion.
time to take your commander out of the base.
Oh man, can't win on this one. The Kings. It looks like Duffy's going to have to pull all units back to help defend this one. Watch Behind's going to have to stop producing economy, but the rest is holding.
The ramp to the right there. There's something is happening. Oh no, the having to D-gun, so close to being able to take out that eco with Rosie getting in there with the comm.
Oof. But it does look like the Kings have managed to hold this one, but they're not economically scaling anymore. They are just unit production. Big push still out of Mazza. We didn't watch too much of that, but really well done with the snipers. The huge amount of welders is just an unbreakable wall. And one of the things that needs to happen, all the next two wings need to concentrate units together to try and take this out. Or we'll need some epic D-guns.
Thing that we do not see out of players so often is, so these, you can see this army is moving south. Last week we saw this geo position right now below it. Everyone has to go into units right now and clean this up, otherwise it just won't be stopped. With this many welders and sharpshooters behind, last week was T3, it was Razorbacks. So yes, commanders are there. Merlin needs to put theirs invisible right now. Probably can't because of the lack of energy you can see in the commander. Always recommended an energy storage in King of the Hill if any sort of push is coming towards your lane. Probably best to just walk your commander straight in right now and just use that detonation to blow up those welders. And nicely done. You can see just damaging quite a few of those there.
But the push does continue.
Big D guns. Yes, we do get quite a few there. Can we get another
very
D-gun
nice.
off?
That's just cut the number of welders in front in half, if not more than that. But more welders being built, more snipers coming down that way. And this is one of the things about going very offensive early as the peasants. Once if it doesn't do enough damage, once you make it in, once the Kings push it back, they start being able to push back in a big way.
Okay, this is where the bottom dry sea, bottom left, you are next. If you do not go and help these guys, your neighbours, protect thy neighbour.
There's only one player producing units.
Commander.
And that's what's crazy to me.
Nice.
Double APHIS, triple fusion in this wing, and basically no defenses built there. Then the bottom side, we have how many wins down here? We have 100 and we've got 300, 500 wins or thereabouts in this bottom right hand corner, and it is just not being used to build units.
And you can see zooming out that the gap above has now been plugged. So of all these units, players down the bottom, just go into Team 1 spam and get some commanders there to do some D-guns. This will all get cleaned up pretty quickly.
Yep.
And then we're back to even. The peasants still 100% ahead on eco, so very good position from experience if they're at this sort of level, but don't want to lose any more of these geo positions. And there are a lot of units here getting close. APHIS
Rob
pack
the
goes.
Madman, known for some great D-guns, looks like he's managed to find the value position right here, manages to get himself most of those snipers as well as a Razorback and some of the welders.
Destroyed.
Very nicely done. That's actually going to blunt that push significantly because most of the range firepower is gone, provided that units are sent to deal with this.
We are seeing more and more units flowing across, but they're trickling in is part of the issue.
Still, the
Ravenda
King's doing
getting
quite
ready.
well on economy in the middle, though. We do see we have 4 APHIS either down or coming down for Jeds. In the middle of the map, we've got the second APHIS for Watch Behind. Duffy not scaling too much at the moment, but just trying to stay alive right now. Getting it shelled down by those Sheldons with a nice front line of pawns. Plenty of...
What's happened
build
here?
going
Sorry,
on, though.
is Duffy's been able to just focus on continuously pushing around the map, doing the most damage out of everyone in the game to this point. And this is the stage now where he first attacked. They've now been able to somewhat reset. Their dry sea behind them has been able to come online and put the pressure back on. And that's going to mean that Duffy can no longer support that push that he's got going. And this is where maybe the eco player, watch behind, will come online and continue that push. Because pushing where you've already got out is the best way to get around the map as a king.
Very, very
Not
much
enough
so.
peasants coming online here to clean this up. Someone needs to get some units. Dry seas, come along. You can just see the bottom left there. Still more than half of the players just scaling that eco. And look, hey, they've still got a good chance of winning this. Because they're able to do that scaling.
The peasants are still in a better spot than the kings.
And we can just see right now some massive damage over the side there. You got... Well, I actually took that out. A whole bunch of chain reaction. Were that Wolverines, shell shockers that just managed to get the distance?
I think, yeah, if you look at their ranges, right on the very edge. There's a catapult.
There's a catapult.
Yep.
Yeah,
That'll
do it.
So bear in mind when you're building your economy, the spot is here. That's the economy spot right there.
Yeah. So Geeds are essentially offline until that conversion and build power is back up. Most important thing to do as a king is to, yes, scale your eco, everything. Spread the build power, but also make sure you've got this middle tier under control, contested at a minimum. Don't just go and leave a spot there. The king's very much in control of this game to this point, but ignoring this little flank out to the right has meant that Geeds' eco has been put on a pause. And we're somewhat reset at this stage. Things are balanced out.
Somewhat reset. Peasants in favor at the moment. The kings are going to have to do something pretty drastic if they want to switch that one around. But the thing is, they do have the tools to do it. Something like a Vanguard Ball or thereabouts would be incredibly potent in destroying, say, the defenses of this right-hand side, because there's basically no units on the right. It's just defensive walls and turrets behind it. So things which can take those ones out combined with the tick spam. There is a large spider contingency, but those fall like they're made of paper. Top side of the map, again, similar story. It is pulsars defending mostly. Left side of the map is much more unit focused, so you need a little bit of a different strategy there, but I think Duffy will have that one done in spades.
Who do you think's going to win this one,
time.
Praedyth, just based on where it is? Are you thinking the peasants just because of that eco advantage?
I wouldn't say eco advantage, I'd say space advantage. The peasants still control more space, which means that even if the kings get a very successful offense going, they somehow have to manage to convert it into a very long time of advantageous pushing.
What we often see is a base being built outside of that initial top of the hill, just going down, looking on the south of the kings. Just somewhere like down there, you see like another base just being built around this area. We're not seeing that out of the kings, even though there are a lot of spaces that they can do that.
There's no safe spaces to do that at the moment, though.
True.
Yeah, everywhere is contested ground currently.
They're also not at risk of running out of space at the top of the map just yet. They're at risk of units, which means that the expansion's just not necessary at the moment. They need to work out what their offensive and defensive strategy is going to be, because at the moment, the kings are currently losing a lot of money just to try and break this middle layer, as compared to getting around to do damage. So they're essentially only trading with units, which are inconsequential in the long run.
I think what'll be the deciding factor is when the peasants decide to come online with their
Kargis coming over the
P3.
hills. While these Kargis do some damage,
those T2 walls, they are having to go around them, but there are enough Kargis here that they're punching through the defenses. They're going to be able to punch through those LLTs. The snipers are the real damage dealers here, and this is why defending with units is sometimes a particularly good idea, because if all of that was snipers, I actually think this Kargi push would have been stopped.
Oh no,
still really good D-gun coming in here, so those Kargis are essentially going to be traded for units and not much else. So nicely done. Some vision acquired though, which means that there is possibility for shelling in the future.
Yeah, you can see here the Shiva's being controlled by Dominus. Have now got a set target. This is my boy, taking out the build power. Nicely done, Dominus.
I heard a rumor that you trained him and taught him everything you know.
the rumor that you started tonight, and we're going to go with
in,
for all
in the
eternity.
previous game.
Any success that this man has is thanks to me. No, not at all. Just a good player around. And seeing he's on that team, I think they've got a good chance. And that's what the players have, the people out there have voted. Peasants 51% on the prediction on AllReasonNoLogic's channel, and Kings 49% voted for them.
The Kings were in a really good position at the start, but with only one lane pushing out, it's a story we've seen before, where no matter what ended up happening there, the rest of the Peasants kept the Kings contained. And we're seeing such a big push up the lane on the bottom hand side, but those Razorbacks arriving just in time to really clear out the chaff that was taking a lot of fire, and now hopefully they'll be able to push back those Shivas, but some really good shots from those missiles, manually targeting the build power. Hopefully they'll start seeing things like the converters, and they'll start getting those ones up, but I do think those are now manual targeted at the fusions, which has caused a chain reaction, and that is an open ramp, ladies and gentlemen. So the real terrors are going to be if those Razorbacks go down, because then the ticks can get through, and once they're up in the middle, that's a big problem. Vanguard's coming to try and deal with the problem, but Vanguards are not the answer to spam, and these Razorbacks are getting taken down slowly but surely.
Nice
Snipers
coordinated push from the Peasants there.
Yep. And that's coordinating your pushes is very important in this game, because you can't have everything as a peasant until the latest of late games. So if a couple of players do spam, if a couple of players do light T1, if a couple of players do long range T2, a couple of them do the cloakers, jammers, that sort of thing, and then a few more do your T3, anything along those lines, your siege weapons, you're going to have a very strong push.
For those wondering that are new to this tonight, I have seen a few comments. So air is off in our games. That is just because it is very easy to kill the Kings if the air is on, because you know where their eco is. Hot tip, it's in the middle.
On top of that, even just the bombers after being shot down, the bombers landing on things can be enough to detonate them. So
yeah, we have tried.
It's impossible to completely
It's a fail.
do it.
The thing is, your anti-air defenses need to be kind of outside of your base so that you can take down the air before it drops its payload, because once the payload's dropped, you're basically screwed anyway.
And the same goes for LRPCs, nukes, etc.
Yep.
We turn those
It's all
big
to
game
keep the
enders
balance
off.
of these games fairly even.
That said, I would like to do an LRPCs only match one day, as well as an air only match one day.
It'd be a lot of manual targeting out of the Kings.
Yeah.
And they would be able to get a lot much more up, but when you've got something like 70 peasants against them, it's a lot of LRPCs you need. So yes, they will kill bases at the start, but I dare say they're going to have the challenge cut for them.
I think the big question in that situation would actually be, is there a limit to how much damage a shield can take in a single instance?
I tell you what, just jumping back to the game, what a valiant effort out of these Kings. Like, they have held now for 15. Like, watch behind over here, Duffy on the north, all these players. Geed's just like not stopping. He's got the fusion, keeps losing the base, building T2 walls around the eco. I love it.
So one of the things that I want to be really clear about, this would not be so bad to have lost if the build power was split up. Just delete one line of those construction turrets, because then even if you lose a bunch of things, you'll still retain enough build power to come back quickly. Separation of your even I like being neat in my builds, but separation of your build power, separation of your conversion, separation of your probably not power generation, because if they're getting an APHIS explosion, then you're sort of in trouble. But if you can keep enough of that stuff separate, it's very quick and very easy to get back into the game.
We just had the first real good push out of the Kings from I have no idea, who has quite the idea on how to play this game.
He has no idea how to not play the game.
And come across a prude, which was very smart of the peasants. I dare say this would have been an advanced geo previously, and they've changed it into a prude, and then you can see there's some cloakable fusion reactors in the background. Really smart, because now these guys, No Idea has no idea where to target to really do some major damage, and opting to even bypass this base and go and find some damage to be done in the dry sea, perhaps.
At the 25-minute mark, I actually have no problems with players actively targeting the dry sea, because as you can see, we've got 6 fusions here, we've got almost 2 APHIS over there, we've got 9 APHIS over here, more than that, all the way around. The dry sea is online. At 25 minutes, the dry sea is online.
Duffy is managing to push a base out, starting to build a secondary base. Down on the south where we saw a lane fall, we're seeing players now push out here as well. Ticks are coming in, but they're going to get cleaned up pretty quickly.
Just remember, 150 ticks kills a Razorback, convincingly. Just so you know.
The Kings are doing so well right now at not dying. Like, this is insanely good out of the Kings. Come on, peasants. Do more.
That's right, peasants. It's time to start with the absolute unstoppable siege tactics. 200 catapults in a circle around the Kings firing in. Do it.
We are seeing APHISs come up around the edge of the map, and these players have not come online yet. So,
would love to start seeing those transition into units, because if there's a solid push out of most of the corners, the Kings can only respond to so much at once.
Just
more so than that, please do it so our computers can survive, because if you guys get too freaking big, I'm just going to start having a conversation with these guys, not about the game.
So, just something that I want to bring back up from earlier in the game. Twig said that it's much easier to push out from lanes that have already been destroyed. Because of Duffy's push all the way from the top left to the bottom left, there was nothing to stop this Razorback push out of Wash Behind from coming down that lane. It had already been cleared, which means that these units are now in and in the clear. They can now go up or down through the dry sea, and there's nothing that's really going to stop them, because the dry sea, again, only 2 players currently producing units out of the dry sea, and there's a lot of stuff coming for it.
Duffy's aggressive push early.
These units have been sent down there. This is going to be big, and these players are not building enough units. So unless these guys all come online, I reckon this dry sea is going to be a little bit drier soon.
Or there could be some amazing com plays. You never know. Never know what you might see.
That is a lot of P1.
Love Me Tinder
could
be the secret weapon that we didn't know about.
If they go
might
into this,
not look invisible, but they could be invisible. Doesn't look like Love Me Tinder was the secret weapon that we were looking for, and it does look like those Razorbacks are now in force. I hate bar replays, which, to be honest, at the moment, with the way that they are lagging, I think that we are in a similar boat at the moment. They most certainly have not been our friends recently, but they will come back in no time, I'm sure. We do have the Razorbacks pushing right the way in, though, getting the fusions, getting the build power, hopefully getting those APHIS just there. But again, Com's doing a great job punching in. Will those D-guns come off in time? No, they do not. Big damage right there.
Humanity Glory going into their 4th APHIS. Where's the units, bro?
Where are the units, guys? Come on.
Just go spam. Don't build a T3 lab.
Spam and snipers. You have the economy for both. These really do need to come out. As look, spam and the snipers plus a com has pushed it back off for Astriel. Those 3 APHIS instead of the 4th. One of the biggest factors in that staying alive just there. Now, looking at the top of the map, we did see top left of the Kings. We did see a spider push, but it has been pushed back. And this is what we're talking about controlling the outside of the map, the middle ring of the map.
People that armies win games, not eco. You need to turn your eco into armies for it to be valuable.
Correct. And that is why sometimes we see the peasants get an economic lead, but by the time they convert it into units, the Kings have such a bunched up army that they are capable of punching through anyway. Oh, we just missed the catapults destroying the APHIS.
We always miss something. It's annoying. I just zoomed out about 30 seconds ago saying I really don't want to miss anything, and then we missed it. Looks like the bottom left has been
it does look
up.
like the the King's doing a really good job of clearing out a late game corner for the peasants, from the peasants, but it does look like the peasants are just starting to put that, hurt onto the Kings just little bit by a little bit. Looks like around the outside of the map we have a mix of 28 vanguards just firing off at each other, with I have no ideas vanguards being in the minority of this trade, as well as taking the most damage because the vision is being provided by the ticks, so only limited vision available for them firing back out. Those vanguards do not have to get that much closer in order to engage those APHIS. Unfortunately for the Kings, they don't. For the peasants, they don't actually know that they're there, so it's going to be hard to hit them. Still, we do expect to see just random blind firing up onto the hill if you get in range. That is what I like to do, and it is wildly successful.
And we are hitting the 30-minute mark at the game. At this stage, to be able to survive this many peasants, I do suggest that the Kings get that eco just enough to afford the bigger T3. I want to see that behemoth conga line, as Jestem suggested in chat.
Behemoth Quantum Line is an interesting thing, and we have seen some of the 50-minute games be won by just unstoppable amounts of behemoths. So, always a decent and interesting choice.
Juggernauts do really well in King of the Hill for the peasants as well, because you can just use the fact they are walking atomic bombs to slowly inch your way closer and closer into the King's base. And the King's bases, once you get one big boom, quite often that big boom gets into a bigger boom.
Exactly. Like right now, we have I think the Kings are getting Juno'd at the moment.
Turn that off.
Or is that?
I don't know whether that was Kings, but it's certainly affecting the Kings most, and I can't see them having a Juno. Just remember, everyone, if you are using Junos, use them defensively. It is not okay to Juno, say, the King's base. That is a no-go, because the Kings are absolutely reliant on getting the ticks out for defense. It is the exact same thing with catalysts and EMPs. All you have to, they are there for that early to mid-game defense, but they are not for offensive. They're not to be used defensively, and that was a nice amount of hits by the vanguards onto an APHIS, and that strips out the production for I have no idea. Even though the energy is still there, the conversion of the build power isn't, which means that I reckon that this is going to be most of what she wrote for the Kings, because they are currently under such heavy siege. They've lost they've lost two of their production wings, and now they're entirely reliant on that left side of the map. The offense has stopped, and the pings are now coming up for that APHIS cluster in the top. When that detonates, it's going to be a space for those vanguards to get up, and once you're up and in range of the center of the map, you do not have to see what's up there. You can blind fire. That hill is going to be so tightly packed. You're either going to hit the build power or the APHIS or the conversion. Any of those is good enough for hitting on top of the hill.
Faithless Prophet says you need a quantum computer for this game. You are not wrong. My next purchases in the next couple of weeks are going to be an upgrade so that I can keep hosting these events.
And currently, even with my heavy rig, we're still seeing a bit of lag going on. But I'm
so jealous of your PC. Behind. The water cold system, it looks beautiful too. And then not to mention the massive monitor, which looks like a cinema.
Oh man, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Imagine playing Beyond All Reason at IMAX. That's what Praetor's living room is.
48-inch OLED is what I've got. Also, I double checked. I thought it was 120 hertz. It is in fact 240, so it's better than I thought it was.
The eco player goes down. The King's just down to Fitmo and Purse.
It appears that the lobby has crashed, so we'll be needing one of the mods to set us up again for our next round.
Maybe Chrono can jump in there if he's not still in this game. Help out. Small little push, final push out of the Kings on the left. Just going to take out some T1 eco, and I dare say that's going to be the last peasant damage received. with another eco there falling, and just the one last stack of AFSs for the king, which has been seen now by Razorbacks and a whole lot of other stuff now targeting on that AFS, and there it goes. Where is the last king? We've got 2 left still. Purser's got both under their control, going for those D guns. And don't mind
Look,
that.
I'm not
See
gonna
what
lie.
you can do with last king.
I do not have a problem if the enemy units are this close with trying to go down in a blaze of glory. You've earned it if you've stayed alive for 32 minutes against what was 81 peasants, I do believe.
Yeah. At this point, if you're gonna go out, you might as well go out with a bang.
Exactly.
If Purse can come back from this, I'm betting my firstborn child on it.
And there he goes. Nicely done, Kings. You had overwhelming odds to deal with. You managed to do it on the left-hand side, but not quite on the right. Let's have a quick look at those graphs for a second. Metal produced, we see a spectacular performance out of the Kings. When you see more than 50% of those lines right well above the peasants, it means you're doing quite well. Damage dealt, efficiency, as you can see, but really well done from a couple of those peasants as well, getting a lot of the damage pushed out there. We're going to get ready for that next game. I hope you join us for that one as well.
Is there a lobby? Let's
No,
hope.
there is not. We can't make the lobbies either. At least not these big ones.
Okay.
I'm going this one and we'll see.
Oh, there is one there. See one with lots of players in
Yeah.
it. Are you blind? Just at the top of the list with 50 people in it. The only
Lots
thing
of
is it
specs.
hasn't been opened up.
And opening
we need
it up
event
will
there.
cause
Pre-tack is on
problems.
his way. Never fear. I've just DM'd and he will be here shortly. Whilst we wait, I'll be back shortly. I'll leave you in the capable hands of these two.
That's alright. We have some holding music for everyone. So let me just see. I think Elevator Song might work. This is the Elevator Song. Yeah, look, we're not musicians, we're not artists. As Tank Tom and I have discovered recently, we are capable of some level of graphic design, but man, could you imagine if we had to come up with the concepts of some of the stuff we've been making for our business without, like, something to go off of?
Yeah, I can do the thing. I can set it up once we know what we're aiming for. Then working out what we're aiming for is not something we're good at.
It is an interesting experience trying to become graphic designers when your idea of a good drawing is stick figures.
Hey, the artwork I made was great.
I actually agree, to be honest. Sometimes simplicity itself is the way forward.
I think we've got a new lobby going. I don't know
Yep.
if PTAC you're listening in.
We have just had it opened up and everything, so I'm in the process of setting that up now.
Are you sure it's been
working?
opened up?
I'm in a different one than you guys. There's another one which
I've
is
just been
currently...
given boss and it's event.
Maybe Flow's doubling up.
I think that's quite possible.
Is Flow in that one now, and is it opened up to everyone?
It is not open to everyone, so my recommendation would be waiting for Twig's lobby to have the player number. It has been.
There we go. Jump over to this one, guys.
Because
So
one of the problems we have, if players join in mass, aka if there's a massive queue and we change the number of players allowed, it can result in some pretty unstable results. But if people come in one at a time, it's usually pretty well fine.
Yeah, and when he means can result in that, it happens about 50 to 60% of the time.
The lobbies are good, but they are not meant for this.
I'm guessing if you got that, oh, there you go. You've just taken it off the 70k stream. Would have erased your voice with the video.
What's that?
Doesn't matter. We're all sorted.
Okay.
So, Raptor Crater is our next map, and perhaps the most popular King of the Hill map. It is designed for it, and it's not Raptor Crater, it's now Raptor Hill. Chronographer, once again, thank you, has modified this map so it's a hill in the middle. There is a lava moat dividing the kings from the peasants. This one gets juicy, this one gets bigger than all the others. Kings can get big very quick with the amount of mexes that are on this map, but similarly, peasants, there are mexes everywhere, and we see the four corners of those maps. They turn into the commie corners, we call them. If all the players in those corners combine their ecos, you're seeing outscaling of the king's ecos. So essentially you can have 4 players on the peasants teams with ecos potentially bigger than the kings. Are we all good with this setup, Tom? I can't see who is setting this up.
I've gone through and done the normal stuff.
I'll leave it for you guys to coordinate. Now, guys, if you want to be a king, please, if you've already been one, stay on team 1. If it does not fill, if the kings do not fill, then jump down to team 2. So jump on back up if you've already been one. We're inviting anyone that has some experience with King of the Hill or is just generally reasonably good at the game to be a king to start with. And this map, 9 kings. But if you want to be a peasant, feel free to stay there.
Alright, let's see if it breaks stuff. IDs look good. So that means we should be pretty much ready to rock and roll.
Alright, we can start applying those bonuses. We have 60 something players in the lobby. Can we get this one to 100 tonight? Just a time check, we got an hour and a half until the event. So depending how long this one goes, they usually go these bigger ones, unless you see a king fall pretty quickly. They usually go for almost an hour once you get the slowdown that the game experiences.
Are we looking for about a 55 again, I reckon?
We shall see who we leave down there. There are 12 kings currently, so we're going to take 3 off that list, and those 3 will be people that have been king already tonight. I mean, if you're listening and you've already been king, it would be great if you jump yourself up to team 1 so we don't have to look like the bad guys, but we will do it. Still plenty of people pouring into the game. And once again, about an hour and a half, Praetor and I will stick around. Some backup support to Requiem, who's going to take you through the start of the Law 70k event. 70k Discord members. I think we're almost up to 72k. I'm looking forward to the 100. That one should be big.
Who have we had in here already tonight?
I am not fussed who gets taken out. I do know that Rosie and Platinum Blonde do like being together, and I don't remember seeing Rosie in there yet, so maybe we'll leave Platinum Blonde and Rosie. They are regulars as kings, but we have seen... Who have we seen? We only need one to drop out. with 77. 77 peasants is going to be quite an effort needed. Smitch was king first game. You are right. Sorry, Smitch. You've been nominated. Really do apologise. That is our kings. Oh, they were they together. If you guys can convince somebody else to jump out of kings, and Smitch can jump back down, but unless
Who is
not,
Smitch with?
Platt and that apparently, but
Okay.
I think anyway, it stays as it is unless you guys can coordinate yourselves. You got about another minute, and then we're going to kick things off with whatever 9 kings we have down there already. Sorry, Stormlord. We're going to lock the teams off. So we're at 55. We're going 60s this game, aren't we?
We are indeed.
Yeah, we'll go to 60 because there are quite a few peasants. We're up to 80. How big do these games get? We have had 125 players in the game once before. That's our record. That was actually the devs versus players game. And myself and Tank Tom were actually part of that devs team, and we got absolutely smashed. And embarrassingly, I think it was actually our lane that broke first.
What can you say? We were streamers. We're being targeted, I swear. We don't just suck.
We don't ever practice King of the Hill in our spare time.
I mean, look,
at the stage we did.
At the beginning, we needed to for things like balance reasons. These days, you guys are so much better at this than us. It wouldn't matter if we practiced.
Probably just for the stream as well. Big surprise that people get to come across themselves. Hit maps without actually selecting a map. Hit that choose map. You can see Houses of Tripolis. Is it Tripolis? Yes.
Oh my god!
New map for this event.
Oh my god, that's
amazing. Get excited
amazing.
For it. That is a map that, I mean, if you're asking me, 3 corners, I'm seeing a red, a green, and a blue. Is this the first little drop of the night? I mean, probably shouldn't be there as public knowledge. There are some not new icons there. It's just a little first teaser of what's to come, guys. That looks like a Cortex Legion and Armada logo from the future.
That
joining the game
right there would be an awesome map for Raptors. If any of you guys play Nutty Raptors on the flat plate, this would be freaking awesome for that. Because rather than everyone having to like defend against a huge open space, it'd be a lane. You could have fun, like you do 15 players. Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
I wonder if that can somehow be turned into like a King of the Hill. I don't know. Probably not quite the right shape. We're always looking for a new map for King of the Hill. One we tried out recently, well not that recently, but when it came out, was that new Hot Stepper. It worked a bit better than we thought, but it just gets so chaotic that about 3/4 of the player base, it just lags too much to play. It just gets so massive because there's so much metal on that map. Could get out about 8 demons by the 10-minute mark on that game mode, actually. That's how big it was for metal. Alright. 1-1 for the evening. Kings, 1 victory on the first game. Peasants, 1 on the second game. And thanks to the devs for helping us out tonight. Obviously, a lot more of you guys than usual. And setting these lobbies up can be quite time consuming. Having you guys in the background really helps.
Do we have a prediction running?
We have one on the AllReasonNoLogic. Who will win?
All
Kings,
right.
Peasants. Flip a coin. No one's voted yet. Jump in there, use your channel points. Unfortunately, once again, we can't set that up on the Beyond All Reason. But if there is a dev there that wants to do a prediction, /prediction is how you set it up.
I've got an interesting question about the prediction side of things. So, can I since I partially control our Twitch channel, can I give, say, my personal account channel points, or can you only get those from time watching?
I think you can only get them from time watching. I mean,
so what I'd have to do is watch something, then create a private stream, make bets, and win them myself to multiply my points forever.
You can use them only on the channel that you're watching.
Yeah, but I don't have any of the things that I can do with channel points. Like, I don't have any of the emotes or anything with the channel points that do... Wait, that's how that works, right? Look, I'm gonna be honest, I don't understand Twitch.
I mean, we've only started
I'm just
streaming on
trying
Twitch in the last 6 months, I think, so it's all a learning curve. I've tried to set it up to look pretty enough for AllReasonNoLogic for our weekly streams and our weekday streams.
By the way, I'm not condoning actually doing that. It's just a... when I look at games and when I look at systems like this, I tend to think about how to break them. I am somewhat known in a few gaming communities for doing some things that then got added to the terms of services.
Yeah, you were the
guys,
reason that some of the rules
we
exist.
won't say what it is, because then but yes, I have been responsible for a term of service or two.
Okay, let's get a 4 start on this one. Only Tank Tom's going to do that, and in the meantime, just an update, guys, that if we do get towards the hour and a half from now and when the event starts, wherever the game's at, we will probably just raid back to the official stream where we're going to have the event start. We'll leave whatever game's running in the background, but we'll probably disappear from it ourselves.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us for the 70k pre-event. You're watching at King of the Hill, hosted by AllReasonNoLogic, with myself, Pradith, Twig, and Tank Tom at the helm. What you're seeing in front of you is a 9 versus 86, which doesn't seem fair from the get-go, but when you realize that the 9 players have a plus 60% bonus, and on top of that, they also have 10 minutes of no rush time, which means they can devote the first 8 of that completely to economy, and then move into some units and defenses after that, as well as a large space to grab as many mechs as they want, provided they share them equally. Then we're essentially off to the races. Couple of rules to bear in mind for this one. Air has been switched off, so no random bombing runs, anything along those lines. Units are pretty much as per usual, but we have turned off some defensive structures that are primarily used for offense, because we only want defensive structures used defensively. That means if you build a rattlesnake, if you build yourself a Juno, if you build yourself a catalyst, EMP, anything along those lines, make sure that you manually target those onto safe areas. If you are a king, only target inside of the brown circle in the middle. If you are a peasant, only target on the outside of those ramps. Pretty simple, pretty easy, and hopefully we will get people off and going.
For anyone that wants a repeat of that, if you jump over to the AllReasonNoLogic Discord, Tank Tom has gone and drawn all 3 of our primary King of the Hill maps boundaries for where you are allowed to attack. So it just illustrates it, makes it black and white, or be pink, green, purple, all those colors he used on Microsoft Paint.
Now, for those of you that want to know how to best win this one, well, it's pretty simple. If you're in one of the corners as a peasant, work together to get a single T2 lab, maybe 2 if there's this many players in the game. Distribute that T2 to everyone in your quarter so that they can get those mechs as early as possible. Then eco like mad. The stronger the eco corners are, the better that push at 15 minutes odd is. If you're directly in front of a ramp, well, units or units or buildings, whatever you want to defend. That's going to be your best bet. If you're on the wings here, take some notes from those players. If you can get offensive at 10 minutes, it is very strong, so do try to do that one. The Kings have 16 lanes to defend, and they're going to be cutting it quite close just to try and make sure they get as much of that eco as possible. If you're in the middle of the map, minimum one fusion by that sort of 7-ish minute mark. That's the goal you're going for. But the reality is that with a plus 60 bonus, you should be able to get a fusion and an APHIS by the 10-minute mark if you know what you're doing. Player in the middle is going to be working to grab themselves as much economy as possible with less worry about defending the lanes. And everyone else at that sort of 8-minute mark should be sending something, either units or structures, to defend these ramps. As you can hear from the destruction going on around the map, we've hit the point where people are going for T2, and so they're detonating those comms for that extra little bit of metal.
Really important that the Kings don't detonate all their comms, though. There's only 7 of them left, so make sure 1 or 2 are left behind.
It hasn't happened yet, but I am truly dreaming of the day that it does.
We got so close a couple of weeks ago where we only had 2 comms left at the end of the 10-minute no rush.
2 is plenty.
Yeah, it was close. I was one of them, and I was nervous. And
Look,
thanks
I'm
for
gonna
all
be
those follows in the background there.
If there was only 2 comms left, I 100% would have detonated mine, even if my build didn't need it, just to try to get to the accidental Kings nuking themselves.
All right, we have in the middle, oh no, we have Lord Poodle Moth that's accidentally reclaiming Rosie's comm. It's really important that the Kings do not reclaim comms that need to be res later on. So
yes,
I think
but that is not something
paused.
that you should be pausing for.
No.
So if we can get an unpause for that one.
It is attack pause. There are no nos. So if anyone in the game can resume it, you are welcome to resume it. There is nothing that should stop this game. Very lucky there, though. We'll let that go because it is a big event tonight. I will talk about Rosie and Platt's build. They do it a little bit differently than the typical Eco King in the middle. They do a bit of a commie at the start. So to combat what we see out of the peasants in the corner, these guys commie 2 players to get 2 fusions up a lot faster than you'd see around anywhere else in the map. And then once they've got 1 up each, then donate 1 to the other. They'll go and on their very own do their own eco thing and get big, all that stuff, good stuff. So yeah, comming does work well in King of the Hill, very well. Fusion there.
Now, yes, it goes for both sides too. The Kings, it's not necessary to win the game. For the peasants, it's almost necessary to win the game. As you can see, based on the number of players in the corners, we're still seeing a good amount of commie from that top left-hand side, with only the handful of players able to work together. They've still sent out a couple of those T2s. The more of them that you can send out, the better, because if you can T2 all of these mexes, you're looking at an incredible amount of metal for the peasants.
I'm a little bit sad though. We do see quite often in this really good commieing happen in the corners where you get sub 5-minute fusions out of the peasants. Unfortunately hasn't happened. I mean, the next best thing, I think what these guys on the top left do, they are handing out a lot of T2, so that's going to stop their eco, of course. But what it's going to mean is a lot more peasants with that bit of extra metal at the 10-minute mark coming to the bank to just keep spamming on these Kings. And the real key thing, we see it and so often, just building units as peasants will win the game most of the time. If you go on scout each of these lanes after the 10-minute mark, almost guaranteed there's going to be 1 or 2 weak lanes that you can abuse. And when you get through, let's just look at Dashy Bag's lane up top on the north. If you go in and you come across a whole bunch of defenses, but you get through that first line and maybe not the second, weak spots, just go off to the side there, go to the next lanes, and quite often we see the Kings breached by just avoiding where the defenses are. There's a lot of APM put right onto the front lines of each of these ramps that are currently lava, and if you can sneak in around, try some sneaky tactics, good way to get those Kings. And once we get to about that 25 mark, you will see a lot of APHIS in the middle of the map here. If you do get those ticks and small units in, they are quite often the reason the Kings
Commander,
lose. You'll see those
self-destructed.
huge explosions, quite often caused by just a lonely little tick targeting a
A
converter.
little really interesting something that's happening over on this left-hand side for the Kings. Entai is building themselves random converters around their defensive area. This is something that is wildly effective at dealing with ticks with tick run-bys, with pawn run-bys, anything along those lines. They tend to get close enough to them as they're running past to detonate them, and do, if not destroy them outright, deal a lot of damage. So I really like that. And I hope and I've seen it a few times, and every single time it's paid for itself in spades, because you need this conversion early anyway, but it's not important late, and it usually can do something as dramatic as stop an entire tick wave that would have destroyed you just from strategically building them. So really nicely done there.
The other interesting thing with this build was he started hovers because they have the most build power per unit.
That's an interesting one. And they can
He's,
build the T2 factory as well, which is a nice little thing.
It's 8 minutes, and the peasants. There's currently only 200, 300 units out in the field. I mean, I say only. That's quite a few, and if they're in the right spot, they will do a lot of damage.
Self-destructed.
But we have seen the likes of 600 or 700 units at the 10-minute mark before. They're the games that the peasants almost always win is when they have a lot of units at the start of the game. But the Kings are looking quite healthy. There's a lot of defenses up. There's a few weak lanes though.
There's a few gaps.
I am loving Platinum Blonde's lane. There's a bit of a different build going on here. It's like these guys are practicing the background because it's a little bit different than the weeks prior. We're seeing 4 fusions and now an APHIS coming up at the 9-minute mark. Plenty of defenses about to go up with 5 build towers on the front of each engine. So this is going to be quite the fort over on the bottom left. But then you go over to the bottom right. Got a fusion. A persecutor. And
Only
not many
having
upgraded
one
mixers.
fusion
I would
at
not
9
be
minutes
eating that
worries
lab.
me. Also,
Yeah.
building the defenses all the way back here, while yes, it does. It is as far forward as you can build those without breaking the rules. The problem is that
They can kill the
it
bases
opens
next.
the entire map to run-bys. If you don't defend close to the entrances of your lane, you might be safe, but others won't be. Looks like we've got a.
Needy
Looks like
units.
Ben's got a pitbull that's built a little bit too far forward. We are very sorry that that's destroyed some of your wind, Bickus. But building it there, genuinely, it's not intentional. Destroying your stuff, building it there. He has turned it off. He is eating them, so he's doing the right thing. But sorry about those ones taking on your wind. And that is the lava drop. That is the 10-minute timer elapsed, and we do seem to have a few attacks coming in. Beamer Heavy on this bottom side is trying to make its way out. I think those units are going to struggle to make it through because there is quite a lot of beaming to be done, but not quite enough as a couple of them get in. On the top left hand, and they're getting in a big way too. They found that gap, and that's a big gap. On the right hand side,
This is the risk
similar
of
thing.
not having units to back up your defenses.
Yeah,
Yep,
and this is
and
a job of the
unfortunately-
eco player. Probably has to come online to defend these gaps now. So you can see already Rosie sending some Jags up to the top right. They need to come around and defend. Where we've got some units coming on the left. Over under real trouble. So many players
Top
pushing in.
left is
Similarly
pushing
on the
hard.
bottom left, bottom right as well. There goes Rosie's T1 conversion. Problem.
Thankfully, not too much of a big deal for Rosie, other than the fact that that's the build power going down. But Oratab is getting
Commander
absolutely wiped in this top side. Does look like the open defense out of Lord Puldemort has allowed the ruination of Ben as well. So unfortunately, that is what happens when a player decides to pull the defensive line back and not allow for the other players to do the same.
For both teams, units are your biggest friend at 10 minutes.
What is the pause for?
Battle resumed. Battle paused.
I'm not sure.
Hey, please resume, guys.
Yep. It looks
one of the kings
like
has
Lord
failed.
Puldemort has left.
Battle resumed.
So someone just has to take Lord Puldemort.
Commander destroyed.
But this is not a good position for the Kings right now. The build power just is not there currently for Rosie to come and assist, and those units are making their way through nicely, doing a good job of destroying this bottom part of the map.
Commander
The
destroyed.
good thing is if they do manage to get in and kill the Kings, we got time for another game before the 70k event really officially kicks off. Hot Potato coming in with their commander on the top left there, trying to find a gap, but they're going to run into some fiends. Are they AFK? No, they are D-gunning. And nothing there to identify the comm and do damage to it until it goes invisible again with that few second delay before it can go in. Going to try and get in there. We do have Rob the Madman, very common name in King of the Hill, getting damage done the uncanny way. Unfortunately not getting heaps of damage, but managing to take out converters from the back of the Fringe's base with those invisible tanks.
And every little bit counts because we only have a handful of lanes actually assaulting, and considering how much damage has been done to the Kings, a little bit more power put down those lanes would be absolutely devastating.
Rosie up to T3. She's got a Razor coming out every about 10-11 seconds. If these can build up in the big numbers, I think we're going to see the usual Razor Vanguard combination, and if that gets out on the edge of the map, not much stops it for quite some time. So it is very important that the peasants keep this pressure on and keep breaching these gaps.
Does look like the units are getting in from the ramp just at the top of the map, but they are being stopped by one of the units that's incredibly effective at stopping this kind of push, which is a Pounder. It's one of those units that even says on the tin exactly what it is good at, and we've noticed Pounders are ridiculously good for stopping early T1 pushes. It does look like we have a little bit of a player deciding to build high ground gauntlets. We've got 4 of those in the very top center. If we can get those stripped out, that is making it very hard for Douchi to defend, but with a big T1 push coming on through, they're struggling anyway, especially with the second lane launching missiles at the defenses as well. Just bear in mind, structures are for defensive purposes only.
Right, I think they have been turned to hold fire. There is still one more firing. There we go, they are dead. That's what happens. That is about 3,000-4,000 metal gone.
Yes,
read the rules.
3,000-4,000
There's only 2 of them.
And the unfortunate thing for those defenses that they were attacking is that they have been flanked now anyway, so whether they were alive or not wouldn't have mattered because they don't outrange a Starlight. Large
really
number
unfortunate,
of Jags
on the
try to
bottom
come
right,
in and defend, but they don't have the energy to fire at the moment, or at least not fire effectively.
where we have that big breach on the bottom right, I mean, there's absolutely nothing down here, and they could just easily be pulling into the left or the right there. This corner just has not come online. They're all going individual ecos in the bottom corner. If this was units, if this was T2 units pushing in right now, if we had a sharp shorter ball, that would be peasant victory pretty early on. But this one here might go for a little bit longer.
One of the things that the way you can look at how a game is going is what's happening in the middle. Right now we have Rosie back into APHIS production. That means that that means the peasants are not putting on enough pressure, because if Rosie at 60% is allowed to scale, that means that she'll start producing around about 100, and with 4 APHIS on the field, Rosie can produce another APHIS in a little under 20 seconds. That means that she can add 150 metal per second every 20 seconds. That adds up very quickly, which is why the pressure can't be allowed to lapse.
Overall lane's broken though, no peasants really destroyed, so the kings haven't pushed out. We've had a couple kings set back a little bit. Unfortunately, that means that our computers are probably going to be lagging in about 15 minutes.
In 15 minutes?
Sure.
Yeah, we'll last that long.
Pretty sure the game's already slowed down to about, it's slowed down by about a quarter of a second per second. Not 2, by.
I'm not already a minute behind.
top left, Oret's just managed to res that fusion reactor, but at the same time while they were doing that, they were building the T2 units. Best to just focus all the res bots on getting that energy online, especially when all of your army is Jags, which require energy to shoot effectively. Tick's being pulled above that.
The other thing that can help is that another player can hand you off a little bit of eco to help you just a little bit. Unlike Claymore, where you can only start handing out eco once your lane is free, and you can only in this one you can hand out eco as needed. Oh, I do like Rob the man, but unfortunately the counter intrusion is just preventing these units from getting in.
Where is the counter intrusion around here?
Do believe it's been built near the middle of the map. There it is. Counter intrusion right there near those APHIS. Good place for it. Does look like the defenses have been overrun at one of Ben's lanes, but the cost of doing that, my question is, was it worth it when you could just go around them? Probably not, but at the end of the day, the more space you have to work with, the better. And it really was only being shot at from the ground by ambassadors, so no real losses taken at that point. Peasants doing a really good job of
the fringe
holding.
Sending a massive army of stouts just through, and you can just see the wreckages on the ground. There are termites sitting up on these hills, which have been perfect at just putting those things down, and with the mammoths at the throat of that ramp as well, and the LTs cresting the hill, that's just a very quick way to shut down what would have been a very heavy metal cost army.
It's one of those ones where it's very hard to not attack the ramp directly in front of you, because it's right there, it's close, and you feel the pressure to do so. But in actual fact, sometimes it's best to pick a lane that someone else has already cleared or that you know is weak, and go for that one.
Often the one that has lots of units come down it probably doesn't have many defenses.
That's also a fair point, but you do also then have to deal with the units, which is never ideal.
Yeah, you never want to go up finding the army. If you've just cleared out the army, then you can generally get up said ramp and wreak some havoc before they regroup and come back down again.
What I fear for the Kings at the moment is that while they're not particularly under threat at the moment,
They're not getting
the
out and dealing
peasants
damage.
are eventually going to come online from some of these corner positions, because right now we really do only have a handful of players that are getting offensive. We do have some interesting build choices. For example, CRS is building a APHIS on one of the frontline wings. Interesting positioning, not where I would put it, but hey, if the enemy isn't up there yet and they don't know it's there, then it's probably fine. But I think the Kings have enough to deal with things like these individual lane offenses, like what's coming from Dominus's wing, Dominus's top left-hand side. But if there were 2 or 3 attacks like this from the peasants, I think that the Kings would start being in quite a lot of trouble, because right now we're seeing forces coming from below out of Orotab, forces coming from below out of Ente, forces from in front coming out of Orotab defending this one. Whereas if it was just if other lanes were there to take over, it would be a bit of an easier push in. Still, even if it doesn't succeed, those Starlights are getting plenty of kills on expensive T1 and cheap T2 units, so they are clearing metal off of the board and preventing Orotab from just going into the eco to try and keep himself in the game. Those units going to be quite costly for him when he's only on one fusion at 20 minutes. By 20 minutes, you realistically need to be on a minimum of 1 APHIS and 2 fusions, if not a couple of APHIS.
Unfortunately, with these brutes and pounders being pulled, these Starlights, especially so close together, are going to fall quite quickly. You see a couple go down just like that, and the explosion when they go down does a lot of damage to their friends next door.
And that's why I tend to like snipers over the Starlights. Not only do the Starlights become entirely useless when retreating, they also do chain react.
There is T3 for the peasants on the field. The first T3 I've seen in the middle of the map. Jalio. Hello, Jalio, with those Shivas.
And hopefully those Shivas will do a nice amount of damage, but they are also not currently primed to do so.
Got to keep them moving, got to keep that micro happening. You can see how much damage they're taking just from the tanks. And now that has allowed the Razorbacks time to come over to help save the day. If you just go over to the player view for Jalio as well, you can see where the APHIS is, the fusion is, and you can see where those turrets are. So you put the, using the S command, put the ground fire on.
Looks like we're going to get one of
on the back.
Looks like we're going to get one of the first major offensives out of the Kings. On the bottom right-hand side, we do have Rosie with 20 Vanguards starting to pump damage up onto that right-hand side. There is a decent amount of economy here. We're seeing 5 APHIS, handful of fusions. Because they didn't commie, that's still reasonably weak on that side. There could be a lot of damage done here, particularly if there's some blind firing done. One thing which would really help here if another king got some spiders just to get up to get that vision for the kings. But we do have plenty of T2 and T1 spam coming through to defend. One of the strategies that the peasants are using to try to deal with this is just to attack down a nearby ramp so those units feel forced to respond. But those T1 units that are rushing in from Maddie Sink they're going to be running into a heavily defended area. I don't think that group of units is going to make it through anytime soon. Yes, it does look like that's going to be cleaned up very nicely. Some good hits there. And then the front line for Yellow King Ben is going to be making it up those ramps. The Razorbacks doing the best that they can to hold. Oh no, I think those are Rosie's Razorbacks. Never mind. So a good amount of offense here. The vision is now being gained. The Vanguards are firing, and only one of the eco corner players is actually building units here too.
Yeah,
sorry,
the reaction
with the spam.
A little bit slow
reaction.
Yeah, well, what it is, it's greed. It's players wanting to finish the APHIS that they're on instead of going into units, and you can already see humanity glory. Hey, this was the same player last game that was on the dry sea. What are the chances?
You have to hold the ramps. As soon as the Kings get past the ramps, they have open season to go basically in any direction. It is so vital that you hold those ramps. And if they fall, then you will lose the buffer that's in front of you, which means that you're going to be stuck defending against units that can reach your base by blind firing.
Yeah, having 3 players separately scaling eco down here in a big way, but a way that would have been way faster if you're commieing that scale.
23 minutes uninterrupted. When you commie with 3 players, we have seen an average of 10 APHIS. And that's from inexperienced players. From players like Duffy, we've seen things like a 40 APHIS block by 25 minutes.
Yeah, and we are seeing quite a few APHIS in other corners, so that bottom right is probably the best one for the Kings to attack. It is the weakest one, and still only 2 players there building units, which should shut down a lot of this, but when the Vanguards decide to keep coming through, they will be able to take these out, unless the comms can really do big things. Over on the left we do have Entai managed to get out and kill, I think 2, well, we got 3 commanders there on the top of that ramp, doing some damage, but the peasants have done well to hold that back. You can see a bunch of welders there. There is still a single Kagi up on the hill. Actually, why is it not reclaiming? Always good to use your build power to reclaim units that are around your base.
I think it's going to get it. It does. Very nicely done. And it's going to get the comm. Oh, it just stopped firing at the comm. 1%. One more rocket.
Alright, top rocket. We have some Shivas that are close. I called you over there, sorry. I thought I saw a Titan. It was not a Titan. So that is getting cleaned up. We did have almost a breach.
Kings doing a very good job pushing in this area. They are focusing on that hill, and rightly so. But they don't. What it is that they don't know is that they'd actually be better off focusing at the front players. They've done a good job of doing that for some of the areas. The Vanguard's going to keep going around, but I'm sure that would be cleaned up sooner rather than later. Exposed Vanguards never last for all of that long. So the amount of metal that has been invested into breaking just this small period. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yeah, conversion went down. If that gets if these razors can get to the build power, we've only got Vanguards over here defending this. They are not that far away from being able to kill an Aphis.
Eat. You must eat.
Target fire. Who is this? Watch behind. Needs to target fire that conversion through there. Oh, and the Razorback gets out.
Watch behind is. Oh, I think watch behind's got the one in there that needs to be in there. Conversion down. Build power going down.
Oh, this is a complete change in the way game's going.
Down. Is it? Are they going to get the Aphis? I think they're going to get the Aphis.
Are they? Yeah. Yes, they are.
Yep. And that's a big problem for the Kings.
Just wiped them down
rather massively.
Rosie building second eco, luckily. Does have 6 Aphis behind, managing to pull everything down here. So they're down, they're not out.
That's a big chain reaction, though.
That's a big chain reaction, and it's not even the main force. That was the scouting force. The main force is still there with the Vanguards, with the Marauders, with the T1 coming through. This is a huge hole that now needs to be plugged, and it means that the offensive on the right-hand side is completely dead. The only remaining part of it is the Vanguards, which are just on a fight command back to defend as compared to staying on the offensive. So that is a huge loss for the Kings right there. They're going to have to work very hard to recover it. We are seeing a bunch of Junos in the middle of the map. Rosie firing those, not sure where they're going, but I haven't heard any complaints yet, so I'm assuming those are being used defensively. And this is something which is really important, and something that people forget. The reason they are in here is because in an offensive like this, on this top left-hand side where Jalio is getting slaughtered because of the ticks, not because of the T3. Junos can fix that problem from all the way across the map in seconds, which is why they're left in the game.
I think it's Jalio doing the slaughtering.
Yes, it is. Apologies. It is just trying to keep track of names can always be a rough one.
Oh, but there's only 100 of them there to keep track of.
Those Shivas marching into the middle, all they have to do is fire at the right target, and all of this will chain react, and it does look like that shot's gone off. Yep, it only takes one Shiva shot to get that conversion, and with that conversion down, the economy is now at only just over 1,000 for the Kings, which is a very, very rough spot, especially since Maddie Sink on the right-hand side got the comm in and managed to de-gun a bunch of the Fringes stuff. Peasants overwhelming at the Kings in this one. I had really high hopes with that plus 60 bonus, but unfortunately the early aggression out of this bottom right-hand side, bypassing Lord Poodlemoth, Lord Poodlemoth, just causing the collapse of the Kings early, the slower scaling, the less metal availability for defense, and just allowing the Kings to be overwhelmed bit by bit. And this is the importance of ensuring that you play your role as a king. You are part of a whole, because if any part falls, then the damage cascades massively.
Just about right timing for me. This is getting quite slower down on the FPS. That PC upgrade couldn't come soon enough. Hopefully I'll have it in a few weeks' time.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you do sub to help Twigger forge the a new CPU, just make sure you write a message that includes whether you want that money spent on Twig's PC upgrade or Praedith's PC upgrade. Just make sure that you let us know, okay?
But once again, we don't suggest that you need to sub to us.
No.
Hit that follow
Just
button.
if you do.
And
If you do,
if-
troll twig.
I will
Make
say,
sure you
though,
troll twig.
one thing that I don't feel so bad about is if you do have an Amazon Prime account, you do get a free Twitch subscription every month. And you do need to submit that subscription every month as well.
Does it look like the last economy in the game is going to go down just here? We do have Tix, the final boss unit of the game, the big bad, the ultimate of destruction, heading on in to take that one out. 3 comms left, and we do suggest that the Kings use those comms to go down in a blaze of glory. One of them down, to another one just before, and we have the very last one that has Control D. Didn't quite take out the fusions with that Control D, how disappointing. But that is GG out of the Kings. Very well done out of the Peasants with an overwhelming victory just there. Nicely done. Kings put on the back foot early. Let's have a quick look at those graphs while Twig gets the next one set up.
Really quickly, because we have got 45 minutes until the event starts, so just enough time to get another King of the Hill in there.
All right, let's get into that lobby sim, ladies and gents.
So 9 new Kings. If those spots aren't taken, and then the previous Kings are welcome to jump back down there another time. If you want to have a go, jump down to Team 2. Thank you for the follows to everyone that followed during that game as well. We don't tend to call them out during the live casts, but thank you very much to each and every one of you. We are up to almost 90 peasants. So, Tom, if you want to start assigning a different numbered bonus to those that join the base, Team 2, I will be back in about a minute.
I think with the number of players, we can justify a... what bonus did you say?
We'll go up to, I reckon, 70. So you can go...
We can justify a 70.
Master, Creo, Fitmo, and Smitch will throw them 70, and then Ben, Douchebag, and Rosie, they can stay down there if they want, but if more than 9 players join, they'll be the first to jump up to Team 1. So you guys have got about a minute, 2 minutes to jump down to Team 2 if you want to have a go.
If you want to have a go, jump down now is the correct answer.
Yes.
Because in a couple of minutes we're hoping to have everything sorted so that we can be launching in on our way. IDs still look good, so that means we.
And for those of you wondering, no, this won't affect your OS in any way, shape, or form because the game is unbalanced. So you got nothing to worry there.
And that is a Kings team.
Unless there are more Kings that have not had a go that want to try, we'll give Ben and we'll give a few minutes for Rosie, Daoshi, and Ben to be replaced, but otherwise they will get another run at it. Alright. Well, looks like they are lucky and they will get it.
Alright.
Let's...
Time for redemption. 70 bonus.
If you can't win with a 70 bonus, then it's going to be very hard to win full stop. So with a 70 bonus, it is not impossible to get a 2 APHIS start with 5,000 metal in army value.
I would recommend, though, just get some T3 out after that first APHIS, because you will punch a lane very easily with T3 at the 10-minute mark. And all the peasants, probably the only way to beat some OP Kings from jumping in scaling eco really quickly is to have enough units at that 10-minute mark to rush them, and like last game, take out a couple players so there's weakness, so that middle player that was Rosie last game can't just focus on eco scaling. If they have to focus on getting units out, that means that scaling has stopped to some degree at least. 77 versus 9 currently. We'll kick this one off in 20 seconds.
That's all. Yeah, because we need to move this person.
Oh, we do have one.
there is a chance,
extra
Praedyth,
person.
that towards the end of this game, if it goes for too long, we will be jumping across. Praedyth and I will disappear from the lobby, and we'll be jumping across to. Actually, will we stay in this lobby? That is a good question. We probably will stay in this lobby. We'll be jumping across to just the official.
Unsure, but we will direct you to where you need to be.
Okay, guys, one last time, there will be a prediction on the AllReasonNoLogic channel. If you want to bet your channel points, jump on there and choose kings or peasants. Who's going to win? Sam has plans, asks in chat. So I can't shoot lava or I can't shoot king's mexes. Pretty much just the hard rule is you cannot reach the opponent's eco. However, we do ask that you
don't shoot across the lava is the simple answer to that question.
Yeah, don't shoot too far. Like if you build, looking at my screen, looking at the edge of one of these hills, if you go and put an LLT on the edge there, it's obviously going to shoot further than the lava, but it's not going to go and start destroying the king's defenses at that point. So that's totally fine. Don't go build a persecutor.
You can't build T2 defenses on the top of the hills.
Yeah.
They basically have to be built back at the top of your ramp, so they can only shoot to... Basically, your defenses can shoot up into the hilltops, and they can't shoot beyond that. And that basically goes for both sides.
The rule of thumb that I use just to be safe is if I'm a king, I do not build anything that can shoot past that line there. If I am a peasant, I do not shoot anything. I do not build anything that can shoot past that line there. Now, whether or not that means the red circle, or the fact that if I build a beamer here, then it's not going to be able to look over this part of the cliff. That's the bit of ambiguity. But if I'm building something like a persecutor, I'm pretty sure the persecutor has to be built around about there to prevent it from shooting past that.
You're on the bottom left, aren't you?
Yeah, that's a general rule of thumb is basically don't use them to disrupt the other player, use it for defense. And if you stick to that rule, then even if it is built in the wrong place, we probably won't notice. But as soon as it starts destroying enemy buildings, enemy economy, that sort of thing, we'll notice. And there's a couple of mods that have been helping us out with that one as we're getting closer to the event. So King's bonus for this one is a plus 70.
Big.
This is big kings. Very big kings. If they work together, it'll be a problem.
I preferred the Carlton draft ad Praedyth.
Hey, they had years to prepare for that. We had that prepped in the space of a thought.
Microseconds.
Not to
5
mention,
stars. Here's the gold
they have
sticker.
marketing degrees, and we have engineering degrees-ish.
Hey,
People probably don't even get their reference. It's an Australian beer ad. Carlton draft.
Very big ad.
We actually based one of our videos for our Road to OS 30 off of one of their ads as well. Quite the amusing video. Sure,
I think that was a lot of effort for not very many people understanding the reference.
I enjoyed it.
And a noot to everyone out in chat as well, and those in game. Also, good A2 pumps. I see you there.
All right, we'll be kicking off the last King of the Hill of the evening before we get this underway. And guys, if this does get interrupted, it is because the event's about to kick off. I'd say probably about a few minutes before the events. The AllReasonNoLogic channel is going to get raided, so that we can raid back to whoever is going to be streaming the next one. I think it might be Victor.
Just a heads up, if you do start past the lava, you will almost certainly be kicked, or you'll have your comm detonated. I
challenge the mods to do the fastest ever delete of that comm if it spawns. I mean,
Still, I reckon
MC
we
don't
should
care.
kick this one off.
All right, Tom, if you want to do A4 start.
Oh, that Tank Tom's message made him move very quickly.
Battle started.
G'day and welcome everybody to King of the Hill on tonight's 70k event, brought to you by
Commander,
AllReasonNoLogic's Praedyth Twig and Tank Tom. You're joining us for what is going to hopefully be the first King victory of the night. They have a plus 70 bonus and they're only against 83 people. So a 9 versus 83 seems fair to me. Quick run over of the rules. The big one, the most important one, when you use structures, use them defensively. The big culprits of this are usually any of the artilleries. Just make sure that you're not shooting past the lava even after the lava drops. Similarly, if you build a Juno or a Catalyst, they are phenomenal for defense early on. But don't use them offensively. It's not okay to take out somebody's defenses. It's not okay to take out somebody's build power, anything along those lines. Beyond that, air is off, and the 10-minute no rush is in effect as denoted by the lava, so don't even try to attack until the 10-minute mark. In fact, why even bother building units until the 8 or 9-minute mark? You could have made it into economy. In the middle of the map, we do have Rosie with those beautiful 8 mexes in the middle. She's going to be one of the scaling leaders for this one. If she's allowed to run Riot with a plus 70 bonus, that should be more metal than the kings can spend. Around the outside, each king is responsible for holding 2 lanes. For the peasants, if you're directly in front of a lane, probably worth defending that. Or the best defense is a good offense, so coordinate with the players around you and see if you can't rush down that lane early. If you're in the corners, co-op together. 1 T2 lab is 3,000 metal. If many players work together to get it, it's only 1 lot of 3,000 metal. If you build them individually, you could be paying up to 21,000 metal for the 7 kings that are around this area, and that's a lot of metal that could be other things. Once you've got that T2 lab, distribute as you please, but the more mexes for the team that you get turned into T2s, the more metal the team will have overall, and the better they will do. Once you're there, make sure to get that eco and support your team as they need it. Sometimes a T2 push is all that's required to break the kings as a whole. Other times, you need that eco, so just pay attention to what's going on the map.
Commander self-destructed.
Okay, kings. In the middle, Rosie's going to get those mexes upgraded. I could just see in the background some of those internal mexes being taken by the external players. It is really important that this middle player is allowed to scale, and what's even more important is that they're allowed to keep scaling at the 10-minute mark. So peasants, if you manage to break 1 lane, Rosie's going to have to come online and help defend, and that means less scaling of that eco, more chance of your victory.
Commander
Biggest advantage for you guys would be to build units from that 6 or 7-minute mark and rush these guys, get this game over with, ready for that 70k event in 35 minutes from now. That's how long you guys
Just
have.
bear in mind that if the game does go too long, I'm sure it will be superseded by the 40k event. So my recommendation is to play for the early mid-game.
Yeah, just get it within a minute so we don't have to do another one or awkwardly talk through about 20 minutes of waiting time.
Exactly. So finish this game at 25 minutes. That's what we want.
We're counting on you lot. predictions.
Did we call it the 40k event?
Did we? No.
I think we might have called it the 40k event. We're talking about the 70k event, as in
70K.
number of followers on.
Someone's played too much Warhammer.
Yeah, 40k is just what you got to fill the time with.
Look, if I've said 40k, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm a massive 40k junkie. My desk literally has Space Marines on it in front of me, so that when I work at my desk, when I it's Warhammer. My office at my work office has a Joy Toy Dreadnought next to the monitor. So,
all of your.
And if it was me, I'm just bad at English and general vocabulary and putting things together that come out of my mouth.
Looking around the map, we are seeing that distribution of T2 from the bottom left corner, and rightly so when we see players of the caliber of Hot Potato and Jalio working together. Right-hand side, we do see a similar sort of thing happening there. It does look like that T2 is being distributed. Top of the map, again, possibly the same. I'm not seeing those T2 mexes, but Legion is on, so we're seeing those T1.5 mexes. Does in fact look like it has been distributed, and in the left-hand side, does not look like we have it just yet. T2 is being built at the moment. One of the things that I find very interesting is that there are players that are more willing to go in the empty space back here, such as FBix and Puffery, as well as Entei. Oh no, Entei has mexes. But quite a lot of players going in empty spaces instead of co-oping in the tops, in the corners. Always interesting, because I do view those corners as a win condition for the peasants. Rosie going with their typical strategy, this time with Ben instead of with Platinum Blonde, getting 2 fusions right out of the gate with co-op eco, then sending one across to Ben, so then Ben does not have to worry about getting the T2 themselves, does not have to worry about getting the fusion themselves, is resulting in double fusion by 6 minutes, which is nice and strong. Hopefully we'll see a very strong game out of the middle of the map, and with plus 70 that should be very possible, especially with the wind doing what it's doing right now. These players should be powering ahead. As you can see, very few of the kings actually bottoming out on energy right now.
And Fitmo, full on metal. Suggest if you can't spend it, give it to your friends. Focus on probably giving it to Rosie, because they're going to be able to spend it to the quickest with multiple lots of build power going down, going for 2 separate ecos again, like we saw last game. Douchey bag on the right, a bit of a different build. This player built a ton of T1 before going to T2, had about 2,000 metal in the bank before even starting that T2 lab, and as a result, it's going to get this fusion up pretty quickly, reclaiming that T2 vehicle factory.
I think with a plus 70 bonus, I think the optimal wind is around about 20. 70, whilst it does power you forward quite nicely, I'm seeing a lot of conversion over here, so plus 88 is not bad at all. In fact, they're probably sitting at a very decent wicket compared to even other players.
Technically more efficient, but the time is the enemy in King of the Hill. You got
space
that 10 minutes. Yeah, time and space. I mean, this will get reclaimed, but it's just the time, and that's where you are right. I think I like about somewhere between the 25 and 35 for wind before going the T2, because you can fund it. You can fund the fusion off of that, especially if you've got enough storage to have energy stored up when you start that fusion reactor build. And of course,
so with 2 minutes left on the clock, very light in the terms of units, so I don't think we're going to see a massive push out of the peasants just yet, and it does look like that APHIS is going to be completing well and truly before the 9-minute mark for Rosie, just getting enough build power to pump that metal in with 4,000 in the bank and only 62% built. Plenty of metal to get that up and running.
Top right, I am seeing a little bit of a weakness that we saw last game as well. Master Creo building their defensive line back near their base rather than down near the ramps, and that is going to mean easier leaks into Smitch's base and easier leak into Douchey Bag's base. It is in the best interest, if you're a king that has played this before, to help out your teammates and suggest to them, kindly, politely suggest to them where to build their defenses, where to build their units, and when to build this stuff as well. You can see already all these hoplites coming out of the base that could be going into finishing those fusions and then punching out units later but faster.
I have no
One
idea
minute
going
left.
for a very greedy T3. Actually, I think it might be getting reclaimed, possibly.
Well, that's the T2
Oh no, sorry,
getting
the
reclaimed.
T2 is getting reclaimed. Very greedy T3 here off of 1.5 fusions. We'll see how that one
I mean,
rolls.
it is
Ben
Cortex.
is-
If they get it up, it's going to be
Yeah.
Demon probably. Demon will clean up any
A
sort of
demon
thing.
will- If you can have 2 demon defenses, that'll clean just about anything early. Ben is going to be in a bit of a struggle town, though. Those fusions coming quite late in, at around about the 9-minute mark as Rosie gets the APHIS up. That means that Ben is defenseless, honestly.
Yeah,
Barely
units are going
any-
to come very quickly. And
Yep.
let's do a band box of the map. How many units have we got? We've got 308, slightly less than last game at the 10-minute mark. So I actually think that the Kings might get away from it,
Commander
get away with it,
self-destructed.
based on where these units are grouped up and what ramps they're grouped up in
I
front
don't
of.
know. With only a couple of pop-ups from Zeus God, Zeus on God is going to have quite a good time jumping in here because
That's
T2
not
defenses overkill T1 units.
This is
You're actually
also
better
3.
off with things like beamers.
Ticks,
And this
ticks
is
would have been good here.
unfortunately the lane of most ingress. Is the lane of least defense.
They have to go together though. There's some players that are being hesitant. Oh no, they've pulled back. You have to commit.
Why on earth would you pull
Once you
back from
commit,
that?
keep going. The units are
Oh,
likely.
God.
Ah,
Okay,
I see
well,
what they're
I
doing.
think it was the D guns. I think it's the D guns that have been called. By the way, Legion is on for this one, in case you guys didn't realise. We always forget to turn that off. You got to remind us. But luckily, mods are here.
The second
me.
ramp has
Commander
pushed
destroyed.
in.
Oh
Those
wow!
defences
That
are
whole
gone.
army, died though with a comm standing in the middle of it.
destroyed.
That was a
Yep.
little bit newbie play out of the peasants there, and that's going to now be cleaned up. Didn't know where these hoplites are going to
A
clean up
real
everything.
lack of aggression from the peasants at the start of this game.
Rosie's going to be sitting there. Very nice. Getting to scale, going into that third APHIS. There's going to be T3 coming out of Rosie in a big way. Not that long from now. With that sort of income, they're up to 330 metal per second.
And that's what plus 70 does. It is absolutely insane, and it is so
Commander
critical
destroyed.
that if you see a plus 70 bonus as peasants, it means at
Win at
least
10.
6 lanes should be attacking, if not 12 or 16, because you cannot let the Kings scale, because they are under normal circumstances they're an exponential threat. But if you don't believe me just how crazy of a difference plus 60 is versus plus 70, jump into a lobby, do a plus 60 start on Kings, then do a plus 70 start on Kings, and look at where you're at the 15-minute mark. With a plus 60, you will have about
Commander
half the
destroyed.
income as with a plus 70. And unfortunately for Ben, even with the severe lack of defenses, it does look like it's all going to work out for him, because Rosie is coming online now with a couple of those units. He was assisted from a couple of the other lanes, does have everything needed now. Even though the defenses are pulled back a little bit, it's not causing too much problem for the other players, because there are a couple of units that are particularly good at cleaning things up. The Chimera is one of the pop-ups that's just phenomenal for dealing with the early game. It basically has a long-range super pounder turret, as well as the light machine guns that make light work of just about everything. So it does look like the Kings have managed to stabilize, and at 13 minutes we do see Rosie on 475 income, so 100 more than a minute ago.
And without the pressure coming down any of the other ramps, the Kings are essentially free to do as they please at the moment.
Correct.
We did have asked in chat, is the law dropping stuff after these events? Yes, will be. I think Requiem, hosted by one of the mods as well, along with Prey and I in the background, will be dropping that law pretty soon. Good push
Would
here.
you call
on
it
the bottom.
a law bomb? Are we going to be dropping a law bomb? Is that...
Sure. So cool.
Hot Potato getting some great D-guns on those hoplites. Hoplites not the best at killing comms, to be honest.
That was... I've seen ticks do more than that.
These things have tickle cannons.
Yeah. Tickle cannons, that's what we'll call them from now on. They're not hoplites anymore. Tickle cannons. DPS
Does look like
244.
Kings getting their first bit. Oh no, actually Kings have been up and doing a bit of damage already, but the Kargi's getting their first bit of damage on this right hand side. Found the comm as well, so it's going to go down at 2. That's going to leave those Kargis somewhat uncontested.
No good pressure out of these peasants. Do we have huge ecos because of it in the corners? Bottom left, no. Bottom right, there is an AFIS, but still 15 minutes. I wouldn't say that's a great eco. Yeah, top left. What is happening, peasants? Where are your units? The ecos aren't huge.
I think we just decided not to build units today.
Maybe the Kings can do this for us. You've got another 10 minutes to win this game for this event to start.
Master Creo, you do need to turn that off. Do need to turn that off. You're not supposed to be using that one for shelling on the high ground. That eviscerator in the top right hand side for the Kings. That thing is not
being reclaimed.
Okay.
Being reclaimed. Even the yeah, actually the Bastion is perfectly built. That's fine.
Yep. I don't think that was intentional. That does look far enough back, but it did cause a little bit of damage. Not too much, thankfully, though. Nice tick run by trying to head its way in, but taking a lot of damage, taking the path just slightly too wide, and then banking in back into the defenses. Doesn't look like that's going to do too much. Left-hand side, the Kargis are on a rampage at the moment. We do need to see more players dealing with them so they can get back to the offensive. Right-hand side, Kings trying to push up. They have managed to destroy the player on the high ground with a nice mix of Arbiters as well as what looks to be some Spiders based on those wreckages. And now we're getting a big Spider push up there. This is one of the ways to bypass the ramp, which is very effective. Peasants, you're going to have to get that offensive on real quick because Rosie is now up to almost 1,000 income. And we're only 3 minutes on from where we were before. So that's a 3-minute doubling of income.
Yikes. It's not looking good for the peasants, but very enjoyable for us, the viewer. We're going to see some big, chonky units come out soon. Rosie, though, is Armada. I would love to see a Cortex being given to Rosie because...
And a Legion.
The Jugs...
Sol Invictus! We all
Rosie
know.
builds
We
Sol
all
Invictus. We want to see Sol Invictus.
We do want to see Sol Invictus. Sol Invictus, best unit in the game. Except, of course, for the Duck, which we all know Twig is not particularly a fan of, though I think it is a pretty stellar unit. In fact, we can go back and watch our tier list, where we can hear just how much Twig doesn't like the Duck. I think his arguments are pretty unreasonable, but it is what it is. He's allowed to have a bad opinion every now and then.
Guys, in chat, because you probably can't tell Prey is being... absolutely, yeah. I think the Duck is great. What do you guys reckon?
He's just saying
is it a
that
good
now.
Unit?
He's saying that now because I proved him wrong in a game where they were really good.
Hey, that was actually great. True story. Praedith used it after I said that it was terrible, and it won him the game.
Oh, immediately on my road to 25. I think I used it in my first game after the video.
We do want souls.
Does look like a big push that we've missed from Smitch up on this top right-hand side has managed to make it in. Those Razorbacks doing wonders, and we've got these sharpshooters defending Vanguards making their way in. The Vanguard's just getting such big shots off. I do love the Vanguard. I honestly think the catapult...
Insane. Have the peasants dropped out of the game? Is there something wrong? Has everyone just left? There is very little reaction here out of anyone.
The other half is that what are the peasants going to do? This top right-hand side, we're 18 minutes into the game, and it's mostly fusions.
There's a tremor that's going to probably kill more of the team that they're on than they are going to kill. Yes, in fact, just that tremor just took out a whole bunch of conversion.
We do have a big push of Arbicus coming in on this bottom left-hand side. I think this might be one of those make-or-break moments for the peasants. They really do have to get in because the economy has swung in favor of the kings, and if that swings in favor of the kings before the 20-minute mark, that is that's terrifying. Because
Without more
Rosie's
spam,
economy is now
they go down
1200.
quick. They go down so quick to that Vanguard.
Oh yeah, then when you look at the Arbicus, you have to bear in mind it is a long-range unit, high damage, low rate of fire, all-terrain vehicle. Of course it has no HP. How do you balance that, especially considering they're not even that expensive? They're only 800 metal.
I'm preferring the Thanatos a little bit lower, a little bit more guided with those missiles.
See, I actually live on the other side. I hate the Thanatos. I find
the
its
Medusa
spreading
is
of
ideal.
fire
The
is just
Medusa's-
not as, yeah, the Medusa is very strong. But if I've got a bot lab, I tend to go the Arbicus over the Thanatos. Though if you don't have the energy to run the Arbicus, I can totally understand building the Thanatos. Right hand side is getting another big spider attack right now. Those termites making their way up. They are taking a ludicrous amount of damage from all of the static defense over here, but they are finding ways to pump in. The Janus doing a good job of breaking them down. The Stouts making a decent effort of tanking for them, but there's just
They're
so
very
many
big
of them up
Janus.
here.
They're banishes, boy.
Nope, they're Janus. I'm looking at
I
them
must
right
be
now.
looking at. Oh, you're in a completely different spot than me.
Where are you looking at
Said
your
bottom
spiders?
Essentially the same fight. It's just with the banishes and the spiders.
Oh dear. There you go. King's the King's strategy working on multiple fronts as well. Does look like, though, another big push is happening on the top left-hand side, as we do have Razorbacks heading up the hill. And as has just been pointed out in chat, in the chat, the Kings have more APHIS than the peasants do combined, which is a really big problem for the peasants. Unfortunately, we just did not see the scaling this game that we have in some of the other ones, and we didn't see the aggression that's needed to allow that to happen. Like, my goodness, we have quite... we have... Oh my god, we've got almost 40 APHIS for the Kings combined, with an income of nearly 5,000. I don't think that the last game the Kings got past 3,500 income.
Rosie, where are our Sol Invictus? This is not good.
Yeah,
enough.
Rosie, where are our Sol Invictus?
You've got 17 minutes left to make them and win the game with them. I do see Fitmo, though, has a Sol Invictus on the front line. Fitmo down the southern lane. It's a nasty boy, those lasers on the shoulders as well as in the arms. And so much HP as well. 110,000
boys.
health. We do have D-guns ready, though. Units cloaked. And there we go. The commander is seen. D-gun's given off, but does die in the fight. Ticks are getting ready to swarm. Ticks will do alright if they're spread out far enough. They're not ticks, they are goblins. They are the Legion tick.
Where
But
are
being
we?
pulled back. Southern lane. The only Sol Invictus in the game.
Ah, okay, I was looking at the right thing. I just couldn't see the comm. I was so confused.
It was hiding behind the rocks.
Ah,
And
okay.
it died. Did you not get an explosion?
No, I didn't. I moved away because I'm like, where are you guys talking about?
It is such a hard thing to do in these massive games as coordinate, where I usually have Praetor's stream on my other screen just so I can see where he's looking.
Does look like the
Alright.
peasants really struggling here, as we do have that top left-hand side has just had has basically had their front collapse, and there isn't enough coming from the back to deal with the units here. Razorback's even able to fire up from the low ground, so real struggle time for the peasants right now. The right-hand side is also they're just suffering such heavy hits. There's 64 arbiters here. That is an insane amount of missiles to try and deal with. And with the front line as well, they're getting good damage on, even though they're target firing. That's actually not the worst thing because they can't hit anything that moves. Does look like more Sol Invictus heading to the bottom of the map as well. Getting ready for a push up here. What you really need is the spam, and we can see the spam is coming down. Those build turrets are being constructed right now, and as soon as those are up, I would say that's go time for the Sol Invictus. Though getting them up the ramp is dangerous and scary because comms can degun them from on the high ground.
And that's where that spam comes in useful, is when your spam runs into comms, they become visible and you can kill them.
Another lane broken on the bottom right. Douchey Bag with those. Actually, it was Piece of Bread with those Razorbacks going to join to Douchey Bag and push on to these, I think, bottom right peasants.
If there's already a ramp that's broken, you might as well use it.
Very much so. Just a thing to bear in mind. In this, if you're on this second hill here, the eco hill, the reality is that if you're building a overseer, you're probably already in an incredibly bad position. This is the sort of thing you put up as a delay tactic, along with a bunch of pulsars, just to try and keep the kings held up. If you're already in a losing position, anything that could have been units beforehand to help can help earlier than something like that can. And King of the Hill, to an extent, is an efficiency game. If you can wear down a lot of what the kings are throwing at you, then it gives you time to utilize the space that you have, as well as the extra players you have to overwhelm the kings. But as things stand right now, we're just seeing such a strong performance out of Percepulary. Sorry for massacring your name.
Purse will do.
Pardon?
Purse will do.
Purse will do. Purse it is. Just getting those Razorbacks up in so many locations as well. Cleaning up the things that I have no idea has been helping it break as well. Allowing I have no idea to just start making it their way down towards the bottom of the map as well. So it looks like a lot of the focus there. Top right hand side, Titans have been pushing their way up. And with very little in the way of defensive units here. It is again that classic problem of looking at defensive structures as a solution, when in fact the solution is stopping the Titans from getting up the first ramp. But now they are reaping havoc, and that looks like another corner that's going to go down because there is only one comm left, and the odds of that one comm being able to hold off against all of the Titans are very, very low.
Invisible Troll, quite an experienced commander.
Invisible Troll is very good. He'll probably grab these 3 Titans, but it's not going to be enough because there's more coming. There is so much more coming in this area.
There are a lot. I thought we were just talking about those 3 Titans. There are another 4 behind them as well on their way. Just zooming out, it is looking quite terrible for the peasants. The bottom left is quite staunch. There are a lot of players building units now, but comparing the ecos, the kings are 150% ahead on the medal. They've got reclaim happening as part of that. And they have essentially wiped, I'd say, about 2/3 of the map almost.
Sol Invictus going down right to the edge of Trainer's D-Gun. Nicely done. That spam just not quite able to clean it all up. Does look like the Kargis are having a hard time pushing into that bottom left-hand side. Might be time for a slightly different unit, or taking 30 seconds just to quickly build up a little bit more eco, then getting back into the production. Does look like the Kings now sitting at 6,200 metal income per second, so the bottom half of the map is not long for the world. Top half of the map is now dealing with the smaller units, which they do not have the defenses to deal with. Holding on as long as they possibly can to keep those Kings from occupying that part of the map and moving on, but it does certainly look like their time is very numbered at this point.
If any mods are listening, do you guys want us to run another King of the Hill in the background whilst the intro is going, or are we ending this lobby just so the players know to stick around or not stick around? Let us know if you are listening in there.
I would have thought we're getting pretty close to the
we won't be there to host it or talk or cast it, but if the players wanted to play in the background of the drop happening. But I definitely recommend put your full attention on the drop of the wall.
Looks like those Kargis moved across the front line and have managed to find themselves a new avenue of attack, which is what that all-terrain ability allows them to do. They managed to get on top of those Arbicus that were holding them in a line fight, which again, just more of what they're meant to do, and now they are up and wreaking some havoc. The big area of contention, though, is this middle lane with the Sol Invictus, and it's not because it's the biggest battle, it's because it has a Sol Invictus, and we like those. Trainer trying to go for another Sol Invictus kill, but has been spotted, did push it into Anaconda, and got out alive. These comms, this ramp has just been a killing field for the Sol Invictus. Though the spam just not quite able to spread out enough and has been cleaned up enough by the defenses, by the units, that comms have just been able to do a lot of damage, not to mention that pulsar field that is above, just wrecking these
sweeping
units.
movement out of fit mode, just taking the ticks one way and then another.
Finally, that's most of the comms gone. Anaconda still there to take units out, but it is going to be these pulsars that are doing the most damage. But we are now in range of the Kings are now in range of the pulsars. Do need to take those out so that more Sol Invictus can come up, but it is just trying to move away. Unfortunately, the range is quite large for these pulsars, so I don't think that Sol Invictus is going to make it through. Looking to the left of that, we do have the Karganets that are again trying to break through, but they are not the toughest of units. They're taking a nice hammering from the Daedalus and from the Pulsars. Right hand side, the slow movers are starting to get into position. We do have those Behemoths, and we do have those Arbiters that are starting to rain down fire onto that high ground. So we should be seeing a break happening over here. Not to mention the top right-hand side has been completely annihilated, which means that all of the forces that were working up there are now starting to make their way down as well. So the Kings, while they have managed to do a decent... Sorry, the Peasants, while they have managed to do a decent job of scaling, unfortunately, they just are not in a position to win this one when they're down to such a small amount of them left. Kings basically fully still alive and moving their way up. Sol Invictus starting to accumulate in numbers, and it looks like the Kings are getting ready for a mass push. Peasants doing everything they can to counter at the moment, but it is not looking good for them at this time. Twig just checking that we haven't gotten any instructions to seed the stream.
Yeah, I am. It is about to happen, actually. I'm just talking in the background to some people. So we're timing this perfectly. Well done, Peasants, for not building enough units, because you are doing us a favour. Fantastic timing. A loss for the team.
Does look like this right-hand side is now starting to break properly. All of the units are here and getting the offensive on. The ticks are getting the vision now. They're finally getting up the ramp. The comms are being taken out. The Vanguards are have now been found by the Razorbacks as well as the T1. So those are going to start going down as well. The Aphis are near to be found. In fact, the ticks have seen it. They just haven't been able to take it out yet. Behemoth is waddling up as well. So it does look like this right-hand side is well and truly in check. Unfortunately for the Razorbacks, they are bunched, so they took a lot of damage from the Vanguard volley, but I do still think they'll make it in just fine. Left-hand side, we do have the Karganets have built up in number yet again. Some nice shots using the EMPs defensively to hold a few in place, but the Kargis are up on the high ground. They have got the vision. They are starting to grab those pulsars, so once those are down, that's going to be a major part of the force destroyed. Right hand side, the last of the Vanguards getting picked up, and we're going to see some units getting on this high ground, going to be capable of raining some fire down upon those Aphis, and once those Aphis are down, the largest production on this right hand side will be taken down as well. It also looks like the Sol Invictus have finally managed to make their way up. Nope. Still not up completely on this right-hand side. They are still taking a lot of damage from those pulsars. Just some bad pathing and decision-making from fit mode, just allowing these to be killed one at a time by these pulsars. That is something which could have been dealt with but just hasn't been, so another one bites the dust. I think that was a comm taking it out there as well. Back to the right-hand side, the Razorbacks and the Titans are in. This is going to be all she wrote for that right-hand side. Some nice explosions incoming as the high ground has been seen, the sieging units are sieging, the APHIS are APHISing, and does look like Bender's trying to get in and do the degunning as well. Does it look like the peasants have surrendered as well? So that is the end of this one. Congratulations to the Kings on your first victory. You did take plus 70 to do it, but the reality of this one, I think, was the lack of aggression certainly hurt the peasants. Thanks for joining us on this one, and we're going to get set up for that lore drop. So join us there. We've been All Reason, No Logic, giving you this King of the Hill, and Twig and I will be sticking around at least for a little while to see some of this lore.
Of course, our channel goes to an ad just as the raid's about to happen. So if you haven't raided me yet, maybe wait a few more seconds so these guys can keep hearing us. So yeah, we're going to raid over to the All Reason No Logic channel. Stick around here for a moment, and then we're going to be raiding straight on back to Requiem on the official.
There we go. Looks like that raid has happened. I can see myself having it moved over to our channel. Hopefully it stays on here just long enough for our viewer count to update. New record would be fantastic. Then, yeah, as Twig said, we'll be raiding back to the... We'll be raiding back for the lore drop. So stick around for that one as well.
I imagine most of the reason for the shuffle is just so that they can get the new streams up and running rather than overlapping.
Thank you for
very
all the
much
follows.
so. It is a it's one of those interesting, dealing with Twitch is one of those interesting things where we've learnt a bit, but in this situation, I think the 50k event or the 60k event was done through some sort of stream to hosting service, something along those lines. It was interesting to set up, but this should drop us on to Requiems for the... This should allow Requiem stream to hosting service, something along those lines. It was interesting to set up.
Hold on a little bit. Have you raided?
This should
already?
drop us on. Yes,
we haven't.
Requiems
We have not raided yet. No.
Oh no, we haven't raided.
Okay,
This should allow Requiem.
Yeah, hold on a bit.
The
guys are trying to fix some issues here and there, so I'll let you know where to start.
Yeah.
No, I'm just enjoying all the alerts in the background of you hundreds of people that have joined in and now
hold on a
hitting
bit.
that follow button.
The
We
guys
do
are
appreciate
trying
that.
Note to everyone in chat as well. We do appreciate the pingus going on as well. Thanks, and we do appreciate those follows. Growing our channel does help because we are, as with everyone who's part of Beyond All Reason, we're all just enjoying the game that's being made by a community for a community. So every single thing does help. So massive thanks to Cheapalotus for the follow. Thanks to FBixes. Thanks to
You're going to be there for a while,
Pradas.
There's been about 30 to 40 people so far.
Thanks to Manals, Zorky, Chapius, certain VT. Wow, this is too many.
Thanks everyone. Much
Don't let him
appreciated.
stop talking.
Private Pershing, Captain Puckle, Soup 3100. Salty bread is salty bread good? Actually, it kind of is. If you've there's a bakery near me that makes a really nice, it's like a Roman pita bread or something, and they do put salt on it, so it is actually quite nice. Riverman 1111, Fitty as well. Thank you very much. And I think just below that we also have, let's see, I started about a minute ago. Bobo, thank you for the follow. Terran 10, Lankark, thank you for the follow. WZ Ball, thank you for the follow. Bear Rez, appreciate you, even though that one was an hour ago or so. And the Bajorna, appreciate all of the follows tonight. That's absolutely huge for us. Hopefully we'll be ready for the raiding very, very soon into the official lore drop, because we are looking forward to it just as much as all of you are. And again, thank you for all the follows to everyone. We do King of the Hill each week, so it means a lot to us that you're helping us grow the channel.
Yeah, it's on Sundays, Australian time. It's in the evenings. Over in Europe, you're looking afternoon. Sorry, USA, America's quite early in the morning, but definitely worth getting up for once every now and then. Quite a fun event with large lobbies, unbalanced games, and there's always an after party as well. Except for tonight, it might be a little bit different, and that is because we are ready for the.
Look, this was the main event. The 70k event is the after party. Can we get some newts in chat to celebrate the main event?
All right, and Pradeeth and I are going to stick around quietly in the background while things evolve over the next minutes, and we're just going to raid back over to the Beyond All Reason. I'm just going to refresh my screen, make sure everything's all good, and we're going to leave you at this and be back shortly.
Thanks, everyone. We do appreciate all of the activity in chat as well. Thanks for for checking us out the first time. Hope you enjoy it next time as well.
Thanks for the sub, Monique.
Oh, thank you very much for the sub. We do super appreciate that one. We over the course of doing this last year, we managed to go out and have a nice dinner at the end of the year, which was a really nice thing to do. So does pay the bills for us, which is very, very nice. Newt, I kill you for fun. I see you there. Some dancing penguins from Chrono as well. Appreciate you. So thank you, everyone.
It'll likely be a blank screen, or not blank screen, there's an intro screen for a few minutes, and then Requiem will be right with you. And if you haven't checked out Requiem, their YouTube is very entertaining. I actually learned quite a lot watching their cast games. Quite often the small team games, the 1v1s, very OP. I got a lot better at playing Beyond a Reason watching Requiem's channel, so make sure you check that one out as well. And do not forget to like, subscribe on the official channels as well. Hit that follow button when you're back over there. And thanks again, everyone, for those follow subs, and we'll raid on over now.
All right, gents, jump on that raid, and you will hear from us in the background later on. Cheers.
See ya. Have we heard what the lobby wants to be doing for this next
Hang on,
station?
Tom. All right, we have now been muted on my end.